This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Let's get nasty on a Monday afternoon here on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers here today, driving the bus alongside Andrew Marsh and Bradford Bruns. We call it the Holiday Squad, boys.
Yes.
How we doing?
I'm doing great, Jamie. Great holiday break. Christmas was fantastic. It's good to be back, though. We have a lot of sports to talk about.
Yeah, look at you. Want to get right to the point, huh? Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here.
Bradford, how was your holiday?
Doing great, sir. Really excited to be back with the two of you. Still smarting, admittedly, a bit about those festivities in Jacksonville, but we're going to push some of the Mizzou-related stuff off until later in the program. I'm not here to dwell on it right here, right now.
Wait, Mizzou played?
Kind of,
yeah.
Ish. Defensively, par for the course.
Yeah, that was a really, I'll just say it, boring football game. Yeah, not great.
Not the magic of bowl season.
No, certainly not. Well, St. Louis Blues will be back in action tonight down at Enterprise Center. They got the Buffalo Sabres, who, boys, are on an 8-game heater right now, so that's interesting. We'll talk about the Sabres in a bit, but let's talk about what happened over the weekend. Blues beat the Predators. Finally beat the Preds, Marshy.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I think throughout that game, you know, the Blues, I thought they controlled that game for the most part. Towards the end, I was like, all right, is this going to happen again where you're up by 2? It's a 3-1 game. Predators on the penalty kill nonetheless. They end up finding the second goal of the game. And I'm like, all right, man, this is those games where you need to close out to really gain some momentum moving forward, especially out of the Christmas break. But the Blues were able to shut them down. I don't know how long those guys were out there at the end of the game. It felt like they were out there for 5 minutes. I mean, they were absolutely gassed. Joel Hofer made some huge saves at the end of the game, but they squeaked out a win, and I thought it was a good victory to propel them into tonight's game against a Buffalo team that they've beaten before on the road, and that was a game without Jordan Kyrou. Of course, Pius Suter won't be playing. We'll get more into that, but overall, I thought it was a solid game, and you beat a team that has really spanked you the last 2 times. So I thought that was a good confidence builder for the Blues.
Yeah, the first 2 meetings this season, as we well know, were not even particularly close. And in a lot of ways, in my opinion, Jamie, it boiled down to the textbook recipe for what you want to see, what you wanted to see from the bulk of your main guys, right up front carrying the freight. We've established Booch had a pair of tallies, obviously. Schinner, nice job there with a 700th career point. What a milestone in that, right? And then solid net mining once again from Joel Hofer. Marshy, as you mentioned, kind of nip and tuck closer to the end, but the bottom line is that you were able to secure the victory. You took care of business against that division rival, no less. And then going into tonight, even though you have the unfortunate injury-related news that we'll dig into here in a couple of minutes, the table is set for an opportunity once again at home against suddenly a surging Buffalo team. I don't know what year it is. I don't know what era it is, but the fact that the Buffalo Sabres, Jamie, have reeled off 8 consecutive victories to put themselves in the Eastern Conference mix, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. And right before we get to the Sabres, let's talk about, I don't even call it the elephant in the room right now, but let's talk about Joel Hofer. He's getting another start. Bennington's rested. There's no reason. There's not a back-to-back situation. Jim Montgomery has made it clear that he doesn't view it as a goaltending controversy at all. Mm-hmm. He views it as we're riding the hot hand right now. That's it. That's all there is to it. If Joel Hofer gives us a chance to win hockey games right now, he's going to play.
Yeah.
If the shoe was on the other foot, it was Jordan Binnington, then Binner would be playing, and Hofer wouldn't see the ice. And you just, that's where you are as an organization right now. You're 1 point out of a playoff spot.
Right,
I feel like I've said that for a month now. You're 1 point out of a playoff spot, and you need to put together wins.
Does it feel like, and we mentioned this a lot when the Cardinals play and certain pitchers are on the mound, that, well, this guy doesn't get the run support that maybe some other pitchers do. Do you feel as if Jordan Binnington is not getting the quote-unquote run support that Joel Hofer is?
No, I don't feel it that way, because the Blues had like 11 games in a row where they didn't score more than 2 goals.
Right.
So neither goalie was getting the run support.
Right.
This just happens to be a situation where right now, for whatever the situation is, Joel Hofer's he's winning games.
Yeah.
And Jordan Binnington hasn't had a long list of great starts in the last little while, but even Jim Montgomery said about that, because it's really nothing to do with Jordan Binnington right now. It's everything to do with Joel Hofer and everything to do with the fact that he's winning his hockey games.
Well, in that year that the Bruins, broke the record, they had all those points, they had a tandem going, and I thought that Jim Montgomery handled those two goalies very well. And that's sort of the case right here, where if you know that a guy is hot, ride the hot guy, right?
Yeah, great advice, by the way.
So I have no problem with this. If anything, and we brought this up, I think it was a texter sent a text in, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago. This could be one of those things that really gets Jordan Binnington going. It lights a fire. Maybe it does, maybe it's nothing, but either way, if the Blues continue to win, I really don't care who's playing in goal. I really don't.
I don't care either. What do you think?
It wasn't exactly a thinly veiled secret entering the campaign either. We knew, guys, that Joel Hofer was going to amass a much greater number of starts. And with the way in which the season started, you began to wonder. That first month was exceedingly rough, not just for Binnington, but for Hofer. And bottom line, you can point to a number of different factors here. You can talk about responsibility, accountability in one's own end. You can talk about the ascent, really defensively speaking, of Parayko, specifically of Broberg for that matter too. But when you look at the numbers on the page, 5-2 this month, 2.1 GAA, and a save percentage hovering around 93. In the eye test as well, Joel Hofer, for the first time this season, has been able to build substantial, tangible momentum. And right here, right now, with the Blues still kind of working their way back into or in and around that playoff mix, why wouldn't you roll with him accordingly when you know down the stretch you're going to need Jordan Binnington? You're going to need both of these guys operating in tandem. But the best chance right now for you to solidify your situation in net and bolster the guys around you is to ride with Joel Hofer.
Yeah, you ride it out right now with the goalie that's winning your hockey games. And the reason you don't mess with it too much is because you're dealing with so many other things, too.
Right.
The injuries just keep mounting.
It's crazy.
Like finding out today that Pius Suter, reevaluated in 4 weeks or something like that. He's got a high ankle sprain. Not great news for the Blues, because Pius Suter is one of those guys that Monty kind of plugs in everywhere. First line, second line, third line, power play, penalty kill, goalie pulled for the other team. He's out there. And so when Monty was asked about, what Pius Suter brings to the table, what the Blues are going to miss, here's what he had to say. This was this morning.
Just a steady influence of being in position. Penalty kill, he's excellent at. Defensively, as a low center or wing, he's always in the right spot. I mean, he had a high ankle sprain, and defensively he went out there with it, which says a lot about him and his pain tolerance. And he still made a great defensive play, chipped the puck out, but barely could skate to the bench to get a change. So we're going to miss him.
Did you think that was a slew foot?
I don't know. Tough to say. I mean, it's one of those ones where visually you look at it. If you think it is, you can find a reason to make it one.
Right.
If you don't think it is, you can find a reason to say that it's not.
Right.
The only guy who really knows is the other player. I didn't think it was egregious.
It wasn't anything like what Matt Barzal did.
I didn't mind what he did either.
No, I figured he won it. That
I was
crazy.
okay with it. I mean, if you can't fight the guy, you got to send a message. You chop his legs out from him.
I think Pius Suter, though, is one of those guys where, maybe he's not on the stat sheet every night, but he's more of like just kind of in the background doing everything that needs to be done. That if you're just watching the game and you're looking for goals or you're looking for, block shots, he'll provide those block shots. But again, just a guy in the background, and where the Blues are right now, trying to somewhat find their game offensively and defensively. I feel like they're kind of, in, I don't want to say like purgatory by any means, but he's definitely going to be missed.
Oh, yeah. Like I said before, he's a guy who plays in every situation for you out there. He's been a very steadying influence for your club. You don't replace those guys easily. Now, they were talking earlier today about, Otto Stenberg. He's not replacing Pius Suter, but he thinks the game a lot like Pius Suter. And obviously he's got years ahead of him to improve and to become exactly what Pius Suter is. But, they're looking for other guys to chip in and carry the mail a little bit. And they're going to need that tonight because the Sabres, we alluded to earlier, this is a team that I've been asked about them 2 or 3 times today already. And I said, when you got that many first-round draft picks over the years and you've been terrible for so long, at some point, you become good. Like, at some point, it happens.
If you're a good organization.
If you are. Now, they have assembled a pretty good team. When you look at their team, top to bottom, they've got size, they've got skill, they've got grit now, and that grit factor is something that Monty talked about this morning. He said, look, they're not blowing teams out of the water every time they play them. They're winning playoff-style hockey games. And so he says that's what we have to be ready for. It's not the Buffalo Sabres that are going to be tic-tac-toeing the puck all over the ice. It's a team that's going to get the puck to the net with bodies to the net and outmuscle you and outplay you and outgrit you. Because that's how they're winning hockey games right now.
Well, and for the Blues, I thought it was important that, we see Braden Shen. How does he score? Well, he's in front of the net, right? Gets a stick on it, puck goes in. Pavel Buchnevich, a guy that was struggling at the beginning of the season, he nets 2. And what happens? He just throws the puck on net and then follows up his rebound by going to the net. Now, that first goal that he scored was a little goofy looking.
It was terrible. But
Yeah,
he kept going to the net.
Exactly. And the second goal, a lot better, right? Gets the shot off and then heads to, the far side of the ice and able to put it behind the netminder. It's stuff like that I think the Blues need to do more of, which will ultimately lead to success. And it's good to see that Pavel Buchnevich is one of those guys that is sort of driving this right now.
Yeah, they're going to need to have him continue along with Robert Thomas and many others. Again, the Blues tonight playing the Buffalo Sabres. Pre-game starts here on 101 at 6 p.m. Puck drop at 7. Gentlemen, it was a busy, crazy, fun, exciting weekend of NFL football. And we're going to get into that next, right here on 101 ESPN.
This is Logan Mayu, and today is Blues Game Day on 101 ESPN.
Blues Game Day on 101 ESPN is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, the ultimate arena for wings and wins. ESPN has your shot to score a signed puck autographed by Blues forward Jake Neighbors.
Neighbors to the goal. Shoots. Score!
Enter to win now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 app. Powered by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Strap yourself in. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN.
back here to the Fast Lane. 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Bradford Bruns, Jamie Rivers here today for you. I'll be here from 2 to 4, and then Jackson. Bennett Burkett will be in here trying to fill some big shoes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so...
Little NBA talk?
I'm sure the Fast Lane listeners will love
Not at all.
Jackson.
We can only hope.
Especially with his hockey breakdowns. It's going to be fantastic. Anyways, NFL was fantastic. Guys, what was your favorite game?
For me, it had to be Sunday Night Football. I was expecting a good game. I did not expect to watch just offense the entire football game. And this is crazy to see because the first play of the game was a pick six. And
Dude,
I'm like,
right?
what?
Brock Purdy. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Right.
And he got himself right.
Well, we watched, it was a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago. I can't remember what week it was, but when they played the Panthers, they won that game, but Brock Purdy looked terrible in terms of throwing picks. And they still won the game because the Panthers have this Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. I'm sure we'll get to them, that entire division, because it's an absolute joke.
Do we have to?
But, yeah, it was definitely Sunday Night Football. I thought there were a few games where I'm like, I really don't want to watch this game just because it didn't mean anything. But then there were some games where I'm like, wow, this is going to make Week 18 that much better. So I'm excited.
I want to talk about Brock Purdy just for a second. Because at one point last night, as I'm watching him dissect the Bears, I'm going, is Brock Purdy elite? Like, is he there now? Because this year in particular, we have seen him do things that he has not done before as a quarterback. He's come out of his shell. He does his little dances now, and apparently he's got a real personality within the team. All that, and then you watch him last night, completely unfazed. Pick six, first pass of the game.
Right.
Completely unfazed, goes right down the field and scores.
Yeah.
And then some of the plays he made last night, that one where he's running wide, he goes around a guy, another guy, and then runs up to the line of scrimmage and passes it.
Yeah, it was like Patrick Mahomes, and Chris Collinsworth even mentioned, we'd be like, oh, if it was Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. And I'm watching him, and then there's other plays where I'm watching him. He steps back, 1 step, 2 step, wait, laser, right, perfect, right in the, I'm like, is he now an elite quarterback?
Well, we always talk about, okay, what constitutes some of the criteria for putting somebody in that upper tier, that upper class, right? Well, look no further than what Purdy has accomplished this season in San Francisco in, mind you, 8 games as well. A couple of months ago, there was a lot of talk and conjecture about, okay, Mr. Jones is looking pretty good here. Do you really need to go back to Purdy? Well, last night, perfect demonstration as to why, because he is elevating the talent around him. Now, does it help immensely to have a Christian McCaffrey playing? Yep, I'm going to say it better than any other running back in the league, full stop, absolutely. But when you are throwing to the likes of Juwan Jennings, when you're throwing to Ricky Pearsall, you don't have Brandon Ayuk this season. Deebo Samuel decided, all right, I'm going to Washington. George Kittle, every other game, every other weekend, it seems, isn't available to you. He is making the most. He is improving the talent base around him. He's playing like an elite quarterback. And now to really put himself in that category, for me, guys, I understand San Francisco still has an opportunity with last night's win over Chicago if it is able to defeat Seattle in Week 18 to snare home field and snare the number 1 seed. But right here, right now, you can say what you want about L.A. Stafford playing the position better than anybody. You can say what you want about Seattle and that defense in particular. But I don't think any of those teams in the NFC West, maybe in the NFC period, can really measure up to San Francisco and how well-rounded it looks right now.
I don't think we should be shocked about what Brock Purdy can do. The first year he came in, if he's not injured in the NFC Championship game, who knows if the Eagles win that game, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're down to me playing quarterback at that point. But then he brought his team to the Super Bowl when they played the Chiefs, and they lost in overtime.
Yeah. Because of the coaching decision.
Right, exactly. Like, he's been on the big stage before. I'm not shocked about him having success. I am a little surprised, though, about how many injuries that this team has had, and they've been able to still be in the situation that they're in. Like, if you would have told me a month ago that this team could ultimately be the number 1 seed in the NFC, I would have laughed. Even last week when we did our stack up, I wasn't exactly sold on the 49ers based on who they played. But, the Bears, they're a solid team, too. Some people could argue, well, man, who knows about them? But I think the Bears are a solid team up until this point. And, I mean, that was a great game. I think Brock Purdy, I think they win next week. I think they beat the Seahawks because I think Sam Darnold will poop down his pants like he did last year against the Lions.
I don't
By
disagree.
the way, are out now. You're welcome.
Wow.
Skull Vikings, by the way.
Wow. The Lions are a disaster right now.
Why don't we get to them then?
What a disaster. Like, Dan Campbell, I love him. What is not to love? Except for the fact that his play calling went from elite the first couple of games to it's the worst offense in football. They really couldn't get anything going.
You can't run the football.
But how does that happen, Bradford?
I know.
Like, it makes no sense to me.
Because Gibbs, despite his stature or lack thereof, he was tough along the interior, right between the tackles. But as much as we've talked about and heralded, I think, Campbell's play calling ever since he took over the reins, look, for me, the primary point, honestly, Jamie, it goes back to something that we have embraced for the last couple of seasons, and finally, at long last, it has come down on Dan Campbell and the Lions hard, and that is on how many different occasions this season, earlier in the campaign, when you were in the thick of the mix for the division, for the wild card, whatever, you had so many opportunities when you willingly, voluntarily took points off of the board. And this year, it didn't work out in the same way. Look, I understand that it's your MO. I get that it's your mentality that you go for broke. But there is something to be said for constantly, when you don't have an ultra-efficient goal line attack, going for it in fourth and less than manageable. And on how many of those occasions did it actually work out throughout this season for Detroit? That, to me, is the primary difference, because you tried, you pressed your luck. It didn't work out in the same way this year.
Yeah,
it just didn't.
I agree. It's easy to say that now in hindsight, obviously.
All year.
But even all year, like, you look at how many teams now, because of Dan Campbell, how many teams are going for it more on fourth down. Mm-hmm. I know analytics plays a big part of it now, and because you've got these kickers, these punters, and all this stuff that's going on, like the kicking game. I think the kicking game has changed the fourth down for a lot of teams.
Well, you either have the guy who can't hit a field goal, or you have a guy who can hit a 60-yard field goal.
Or you have a punter that can kick it 70 yards, or a guy that gets 45. Like, you got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. True, but how many of those like-minded teams, similar to Dan Campbell and the Lions, are scrambling right now just to stay in the playoff mix, whereas earlier in the season, seriously, I know it's a schematic, it's a philosophical thing. You take the points, you're not in these positions.
I just don't know about that. Some of the games he made some of those decisions. I don't know if the field goal makes a difference or not. Some of them, like, we go back to the playoffs the year before, and he should have taken the damn field goals or the extra points that are going for two. Like, all those decisions, I'm clearly, sitting here agreeing with you. I just don't know some of those games if the 3 points at that point makes a difference.
How about Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago? Early in the first half, you have a gimme field goal with one of the more reliable kickers in the league in Jake Bates, and everybody wanted to focus on the final two plays, the last one in the first half, final one of the game with the PI. Those are moot if you take the points when they're given to you.
I think, you're onto something there. I think for me, the bigger thing for the Lions is they're missing Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson...
Oh, what has
goes
that
to
guy
Chicago.
ever done?
Well, look what he's doing right now, Jamie. He's got the Bears in the playoffs.
The Bears would have been there without him.
Oh, yeah, you really believe that, huh?
And it's oriented around the ground game, where you don't have the home run hitters, the threats. Okay, Gibbs and Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles. You're doing this in Chicago, in the Windy City, with Swift and Monungai. Not to take anything away from them, but he's doing more, I would contend right now, with less in that backfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's I predicted at the beginning of the season that the Lions would miss the playoffs. I did not have them in fourth place, so I think this is a shocker to me. I mean, they can still finish the year with a above 500 record. But, a team that you mentioned, Bradford, the Steelers, they played the Lions, what was that? Not this week, but last week.
The week prior.
They win the game. They have their best wide receivers suspended. They go take on the Browns.
Hang on, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Let's talk about DK Metcalf, because I talked briefly with Bradford when I got here. What a moron, first of all.
Yeah.
To engage with a fan is the dumbest thing ever. It really is. Especially, just let him yell. I don't care what he's yelling. If you really have a problem with what he's yelling, if it's racial, if it's homophobic, if it's something that's really insulting you, there's tons of security guards. You just go tap one quietly and go, hey, man, go stand near the wall over there. Listen to what this guy's saying. And let me know what you think. You don't go over there yourself, whatever the hell the guy's saying. And now because of it, there's no doubt in my mind the Steelers would have won yesterday if they had DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I don't think based on what I watched on Saturday, the way that Derrick Henry ran the football, I don't see Pittsburgh winning that game. I really don't.
But I'm talking about the game they just played.
No, absolutely, but he'll be out.
He'll be out again.
He'll be out again.
That's how selfish and dumb that play was.
Absolutely. That's a reason why I don't believe that they will win on Sunday. And when you have an opportunity to beat a Cleveland Browns team to secure the division and go to the playoffs, you know that it is not.
I was here.
When you have that chance, though, you need to beat that team. Yeah. I don't think karma is on their side, and I think they lose.
I was here in the studio. I was watching as Shedeur Sanders looked more than respectable in the first quarter. And then the propensity for putting the ball in harm's way, not being able to get through the progressions. The Steelers defense, once again, that veteran-laden unit looked legitimately good. But the bottom line for me, and Jamie, we had talked about it briefly in the office, I simply do not trust this Steelers offense, frankly, with or without Metcalf, to be able to do what is necessary. Look, Rodgers still has all of the cerebral qualities that we want in an upper-level quarterback. But if you're unable to consistently or at all push it down the field, you don't have that guy to stretch, to actually use the radius there, the giant catch point. And frankly, at times it seems as if you're ignoring Jaylen Warren when he is consistently churning out yards on the ground for you. I don't see how you go up against Baltimore, regardless of whether Lamar is there at quarterback or not, and you're able to compete, let alone come away with a victory. You blew your shot yesterday, and we know why.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how that all shapes up. There's going to be some really fun games to watch.
And we won, by the way.
And we won. Yep.
Yes.
We took the Rizzuto show out behind the woodshed this week and made a point of doing damage. I don't know how much we won by, but we won.
We did.
So we got that going for us anyways. All right, what's trending next here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN?
101 ESPN is powered by Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
101 ESPN is your home for Blues hockey. Every month during the season, you can score a pair of tickets to a Blues game at Enterprise Center. A new winner is picked every month throughout the season. Enter to win now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app presented by Ted Cruz Frozen Custard.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. New and existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly.
Spread Zone, where sports betting meets reckless optimism, questionable logic, and the occasional stroke of genius. With hosts Anthony Stalter, Tim McKernan, and Scott Rizzuto. Check out the latest from the Spread Zone at 101ESPN.com or the 101 mobile app. The Spread Zone is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Blues buoyed by Weekend Dub. Good afternoon. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Saturday, the Note finally solved Nashville, prevailing 3-2 at Enterprise Center. Said venue will be hopping again this evening as St. Louis hosts Red Hot Buffalo. Those Sabres haven't lost a contest since December 8th. NFL, Jacksonville runs its winning streak to 7 games. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, on shakier ground after stumbling against Cleveland. Steelers Ravens for AFC North honors, concluding that regular season schedule. Your Sports Center update was powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Don't slow down. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. What are the hot topics in the sports world?
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It's time to find out with
What's Trending, brought to you by Elite Comfort Experts. Heating and cooling with no gimmicks, just guarantees. EliteComfortExperts.com.
Just past 2:30 in the Lou on a Monday. Bradford Bruns, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh with you, courtesy of the Fast Lane. Gentlemen, let's begin today, Marshy, specifically with your school. No question about it. So news from NCAA football not pertaining to CFP Round 2. We will get to that soon enough in the show as it progresses. But Notre Dame is doing right, I guess you could say, by the head coach Marcus Freeman. In any event, rewarding him with an extension. The terms have been revised. Obviously, the athletic director there in South Bend has had quite a few things with which to deal over the past few weeks, but getting the job, getting the deal done. And to me, the most intriguing part of this is now Freeman, not a candidate for an open spot in New York, anywhere else with respect to the NFL ranks.
I think this is great for Notre Dame. I don't hate Notre Dame, by the way. I just don't.
What is your problem with them? I just don't get it.
Well, Jamie, I hate Notre Dame.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
No,
we got there, Bradford.
You hate Notre Dame, Jamie. You hate Mizzou. We get it. We know how it goes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's clearly it.
Yes. Yeah. No, I
actually don't like Notre Dame.
I don't have a problem with Notre Dame. It just with how this whole college football playoff thing played out. They sort of, I don't want to say embarrass themselves is the word with how everything played out afterwards. I just didn't like it. I didn't like how it all went down. But I don't necessarily hate the school. I was rooting for them last year when they were in the national championship game. But I think this is great for Notre Dame. I think Marcus Freeman, the culture that he has instilled within that locker room, not that, the culture at Notre Dame was terrible by any means. I mean, it's a historic program. But I think he has done such a great job with the team. I think it's good that they keep him there. I don't know what it would look like if he were in the NFL. And I don't necessarily know. I don't know if I'd want to take over the Giants, given where they're at right now. Now they have a pretty solid defense, but there's just some organizations that I think if you take over in the NFL, you're like destined to fail. And I don't know. I don't know.
The Jets?
Yes, the Jets for sure. The Giants have
Browns.
The Browns for sure. I don't know if the Giants are necessarily in that category because we've seen them win Super Bowls, but as of recent, they've sort of been a joke. So
see, I'm actually on the opposite end of the spectrum because I do think that the Giants gig is honestly more beguiling than a lot of the other potential openings in the offseason. And here's why I say that. Beguiling.
What the hell is that? What did you call it, Marshy?
It's attractive.
Beguiling.
Multi-syllabic words. And here's why.
I'm going to have to listen to the podcast later and figure out what the hell Bradford said. I'll either be happy or mad at him.
No, I've never heard that word in my life.
I don't like it first time.
If you had multiple choice and you had beguiling on there, I'd say that's not a word. It's not a word.
Maybe it will pop up spelling style and random one of these days. We don't know. But here's why I like that job. Not just based on the defense. I think the division, all of a sudden, Philadelphia notwithstanding, is pretty gettable. You saw regression this season from Washington. And for that matter, too, Dallas, we don't know from one year to the next whether the defense is going to be completely insipid, whether you're going to have more on offense beyond just Pickens and Lamb. You have the offensive toys to play with as well. Jackson Dart, a foundational piece at quarterback. Malik Neighbors coming off of the injury. Cam Scadaboo, too. But Marcus Freeman makes his bones, obviously, more from a defensive standpoint.
So I think Marcus Freeman's playing this very, very intelligently. I really do. I think that he's a young head coach. He's only been the head coach at Notre Dame, 2 years now? Just around 2 years?
Yeah.
Why rush it? He's probably making a boatload of money coaching Notre Dame. The notoriety that he's getting, the experience that he's getting. You listen to him, the way he speaks with the media. Like, he is a future NFL head coach.
He's a great leader.
If he wants to be, okay? And I think he's making the right decision. I don't like the Giants at all. I don't find them to be an attractive team at all. You've got Jackson Dart at quarterback.
Can't stay healthy.
He's a train wreck. He might hurt himself. Scadaboo's fine. We'll see how he holds up. He's hurt already.
He runs into brick walls.
Yeah, smashes his face into the wall.
He might not be healthy for a full season.
And I just think people like Marcus Freeman don't have to rush to jump into the NFL. They just don't. The opportunity, if he wants that opportunity, it will come with a team kind of like Ben Johnson in his situation, where he finds a team that's trending in the right direction, add a few pieces. You got a quarterback that you think you can work with. That's what I think a young, talented coach like Marcus Freeman, I think that's what he makes the jump.
And I'm not a huge believer in Joe Shane, who is the GM with the Giants. I think a lot of moves that they have made with him at the helm, I just don't love them. I think I was intrigued by what they were doing when they were on Hard Knocks in the offseason a few years ago. But ever since then, it's just, I don't know. Like, I understand the pieces that they drafted. There's an semblance of a team that could be good, but I'm having a hard time seeing that for a full season. I think they have pieces that are really fantasy football relevant at this point.
Okay.
But I don't know from an offensive standpoint if they can keep up with the Eagles, if they can keep up with the Dallas Cowboys, because I think the Cowboys are going to take a step forward next year. I know that sounds insane to say, but I do believe what we saw from their defense towards the back end of the season was way better than, in my opinion, just from the eye test, than the front portion of it. So I could see them sort of getting back into the mix. Again, the Eagles aren't going anywhere. And if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy and have a resurgence, maybe that they make that division interesting too. I'm just not a huge fan of being in the Giants organization right now, although their defense is very promising. They got some dudes on that defense.
Yeah, offensively, I would contend that anyone can hang with Philadelphia at present in that division. I get from where you're coming, though, and for Marcus Freeman in this case.
Yeah, but you know what? That Philadelphia job might be available too soon as well.
Very well could.
And then Marcus Freeman can go there.
And hey, all the while, you're just resting on the enhanced contract, enhanced deal, to use Notre Dame's language, as you wait for your prime opportunity.
100%. I think he's a great coach. I think he'll get his chance, that again, if he wants to. Because Nick Saban took his shot at the NFL, didn't work out, didn't like it, wasn't a good fit.
Right.
So who knows with Marcus Freeman. All right, we have some exciting news. One, Ricky Proehl coming back here to St. Louis as the Battlehawks head coach. And two, we're going to talk to him next, right here in the Fast Lane, 101 ESPN.
The Blues play on 101 ESPN.
Big save on one end. Tie game on the other.
Tonight, Blues and Sabres. Pre-game at 6. Puck drop at 7.
Score! He tucks it in with a great move.
This is your exclusive home for Blues hockey. 101 ESPN. The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
It's the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Exciting news coming out of the UFL today. Obviously, we got the news, I believe, last week that Anthony Becht was not going to return to the Battlehawks. He's taken his talent south to Florida, the Orlando franchise, I believe. And they were looking for a head coach. What better way to fill the void than with Ricky Proehl, former Rams player here in St. Louis. Has been with the Battlehawks since 2022, the 23 season. I think it's a good hire, Marshy.
Absolutely, and it sticks to the roots of St. Louis, and I think that's huge for the fans. And you know, when the Rams left, obviously people here in St. Louis were wanting football, but really wanting to put it to Stan Kroenke, and so keeping this team a team that is born here and led by players that used to play here, I think that is very important.
Well, let's get out there right now to our hotline and talk to Ricky Proehl, head coach of your Battlehawks. Ricky, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I love hearing the fact that you're going to stay here with the organization now, take over as the head coach. If it's okay with you, can you kind of take us behind the curtain a little bit over the last, week to 10 days of how all this went down?
Yeah, it was the last, probably less than a week. So 2 years ago when I was coaching the receivers in the Battlehawks, I know Coach Beck, who I loved coaching for, great guy, has done an amazing job. I know his dream is to eventually coach in the NFL. And so I was walking in, pregame in the Dome, and I saw Russ Brandon, the president, CEO of the league. And I said, Russ, if this job ever comes available, I want a shot. I need a shot. So fast forward 2 years, he called me the other day and said, hey, we've got a new investor. We're realigning the league. We're bringing Orlando back. Beck's got contacts. He wants people in the cities to have a kind of a touch with whether they live there or they're from there, and so Beck's going to Orlando, and the St. Louis job is open. Are you interested? And I said absolutely. I mean, it was like a dream come true, man. I just for me, for the last 8 years, I've been outside of that coaching year with the Battlehawks, I've been training and developing guys on the West Coast for Excel Sports Management, getting guys ready for the combine, the draft. And there's so many like guys like Rome Odunze, Dallas Goedert. I've worked with tight ends and wide receivers, and there's a bunch of them that are playing now. So I get to follow their careers and just see them every year they come back. We work together just on different stuff that they need on their game. And so it's something that I've really enjoy, and this to me is a perfect opportunity to help develop young men that want a shot. There's so many times where as a player and a coach we watch guys get cut and they're like, man, that guy can play, he just needs an opportunity. And this is the perfect situation, perfect deal. It's a 5-month deal to where I've got grandkids now I spend a lot of time with, so I get to coach in the best sports town in our country and to work with the best of the best to hopefully get them to their next level to be the best version of themselves. And it's exciting. It's a dream come true.
Ricky, just pulling off of that last statement, just, your love for the city of St. Louis as a city as well as a sports town, and you talked about your desire of wanting this job. You've seen firsthand the response to the Battlehawks here in St. Louis, and you've also had the opportunity to listen and talk and be around Coach Becht as he built this team up in what is now the UFL. For you now to grab the baton and move this thing forward, what are some things you want to bring to the team and things that you feel are important, especially in the St. Louis market?
I think the things that I believe in my heart that what I've learned over 17 years as a player and a coach, the recipe for success. And it's, you know, when you play on some teams, my first 9 years, I played on some god-awful teams, you know. And then when you get an opportunity to play for Coach Vermeil, a Coach Dungy, Fox, and you get to go to the Super Bowl and the playoffs, you learn what it takes as a football team and what the culture you have to bring. And it's playing for each other. It's being selfless. It's coming to work every day with a plan to get better. And how do we get better? And it's plugging guys in to where they can showcase their talent. It's understanding each individual player and what they bring to the table and how to get them to perform at the highest level. And I think for me, that's what we're going to do. That's where we hopefully, Beck has done such a great job of the talent level that he's brought to St. Louis. And obviously, people don't realize how hard it is to get to the championship, to win it at any level. You know, if it's such an emotional game. It's such a game of momentum. You know, you can lose that so easily with a turnover, a fumble. So it's playing disciplined football. It's defense, 11 guys running to the ball. It's offense, the receivers blocking downfield, taking a 15-yard run into a 40-yard touchdown. It's the little things, doing the right things each and every play. And to me, when you take care of those, winning takes care of itself.
You touched on some of those great teams that you played for. Those teams had great offenses. What should fans expect to see from your team's offense this upcoming season? What do you envision it looking like?
Well, you know, you got to get players, but I envision it just being a wide open spread offense. You know, you got to run the football. I think when you win, you got to have guys up front that can protect the quarterback. You definitely need a trigger man. You need a guy that can make good decisions, but can also, you know, get the ball downfield, get the ball out of his hand. So it takes a lot of different things. I believe in it. You got to have a run game. As much as I want to throw the ball, and we're going to throw, you got to run the football too. They got to respect the run, so you can throw the ball vertically down the field. But you know, I look at that offense that we ran in St. Louis. We ran the same offense in Carolina. That's 3 Super Bowls for me out of 4 running that offense, and it's successful. They're still running the same plays today. They just call it different. And so to me, I want to bring an offense that's easy to learn, so when guys come, hopefully it is a revolving door and guys are getting opportunities to play at the next level, and we're having to coach new kids. But I want kids to pick up this offense to where they can play fast. They're not out there thinking. I'm a believer that if you can be a great athlete, but if you don't know where to line up and you're thinking where to line up and you're thinking about what route you got, your athleticism isn't going to come out. And so I want to keep it simple to where they can play fast, but I want to be productive to where we do a lot of good things, and that's throwing the football and play action, moving, you know, misdirection, all that stuff.
We're talking to Battlehawks' new head coach, Ricky Proehl, here in the Fast Lane. Ricky, one little quick follow-up from me on, talking about the offense, because it's always so intriguing, especially in today's game, just how complicated certain offenses can be, yet it does go back to the bare essentials of being able to run the ball and protect the quarterback. And you talked about you got to find the right players. So as you're looking for a quarterback right now in the offseason to be your guy, the number one guy, is it more important to you find a quarterback that matches the offense you want to play, or can you find the quarterback with certain talents that you like and then match your offense to the quarterback? Which one's more important for you?
I think it's matching the system, but I think if a lot of times it's hard to find 2 of those guys. So I think you have to change. Like if you have, for example, if you got a guy who is athletic and he can run, but he also can throw. I want a guy that's athletic, but it can also sit in the pocket and throw the football. I believe you have to have that guy to win a championship. You look so many times at some of these great quarterbacks in the NFL, and they're great athletes, and they run all over the yard during the regular season, and then they get in the playoffs, and what do? You got great defenses. They're in the playoffs because they're great defenses. Now all of a sudden they keep you in the pocket, and you struggle to throw the ball in the pocket. So, but I do think you have to do, for example, if you're a guy that's a pocket passer, even though he's athletic, and all of a sudden he gets hurt, and you got a guy that maybe isn't his talent, then you have to make changes within the offense to suit that quarterback where he can still have success.
Ricky, before you came back to St. Louis in 2023, you were on the staff there for several seasons in Carolina working with the receivers. I'm curious, with everybody in the UFL obviously aiming to get his shot, what is the biggest difference between working with some of these guys from a developmental standpoint, whether it's physically or mentally, as opposed to those who are trying to obviously establish themselves at the pro level?
Well, the group of guys we had 2 years ago, Akeem Butler, Marcel, Aitman, Darius Shepard, Gary Jennings, George. I mean, to me, I look at those guys. I coached for the Panthers for 6 years. They could have played on the Panthers, no doubt about it. It's just about being in the right situation with the right coach that believes in you and gives you an opportunity to shine. There's no question Akeem Butler shouldn't be in the NFL right now.
Ricky, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Go ahead. I do believe. I believe Shep. I believe there was a place for Darius Shepard. I mean, as a punt returner, as a slot guy. Even Austin. I know Austin can play. It just he maybe he's a slot guy. Maybe he's your fifth receiver. But there's guys in the league that those guys are as good, if not better, than our guys right now. And it's just, and it's sad, but I understand it. It's an opportunity. Sometimes it's politics. Sometimes it's, hey, they're not willing to give the guys a shot, or they drafted someone, and God forbid we can't cut a draft pick. There's no question. There's no question that a lot of those guys could have played at the next level.
Well, Ricky, one last thing for you here before we let you go again. Thank you so much for your time here today with us on the show. It's no secret, Battlehawks fans are the craziest fans in the league. They fill the place up. I mean, there's no other team like it at all. There's no other city like it here in St. Louis. If you got your last words here today to our listeners who are out there, what do you have to say to our Battlehawks fans about what they can expect and just about things moving forward? Oh, did we lose you? Ricky, you still there? We've lost Ricky Proehl. He's a mic drop, and he's out. All right, well, that was head coach Ricky Proehl. I really liked a lot of the things that he had to say, guys. I think that I think he's right. I think there are certain players that in the UFO could probably translate right away to the NFL given the opportunity, but sometimes you earn those opportunities, and sometimes you don't. Anyways, we got him back? All right, Ricky, sorry we lost you there for a second, buddy.
Yeah, sorry about that. It cut off. Sorry, man. I think that was on me.
No, I'm gonna blame Bradford here. It's much easier. Okay. But no, the one thing I was going to ask you is just knowing just the crazy fans here in St. Louis and the support the Battlehawks get here locally. Just parting words. What are some things you'd like to say to the fans about, what the team should look like and, what you're expecting from the football fans as well? They like to be challenged, Ricky.
Well, first of all, I can't tell you how excited I am to come back and the memories I have in St. Louis. My kids grew up there for 5 years, went to elementary school. We have so many good memories. I cannot wait to come in that dome and showcase the product that we're going to put on the field. We're going to play fast. We're going to play physical. We're going to put a product on the field that they're proud of. And this city is the best city I ever played for. Best sports town in our country. They deserve another championship, and that's my goal. That's going to be our number one emphasis, is winning the championship, getting over that hump and winning the championship for St. Louis.
I love it, Coach. Absolutely love it. I know our fans are going to love it, too. Congratulations once again. Welcome back to St. Louis. We're really excited to see what you and your staff can do here with the Battlehawks. And, of course, we wish you nothing but the best. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you having me.
All right, thank you again. That was Coach Ricky Proehl, new head coach of your St. Louis Battlehawks. We thank him for his time today. Always fun to catch up with the coaches. And it's always fun, Marshy, to see these guys come back to St. Louis, whether it's Blues, Cardinals, Rams, you take your pick. People just love it here, man.
Yeah, I mean, and you're a firsthand witness of that. It's not like you played with the Blues your entire career. You went to other places, but you found your way back here. Yep. And I think that says a lot about the community and just how much people care about their sports here in the city of St. Louis. And, I think it's great that the Battlehawks, like I said before we talked with Ricky Proehl, that they are also bringing in these former players to really connect with the fans.
Smart.
Because so many people loved that Rams team. I know there's a lot of people out there, including myself, that despise the Rams. Perhaps they despise the NFL as well.
Well, they do now.
But
back then, we
then, I mean, that team was awesome. Yeah. They were so much fun to watch. Maybe not so much the years leading up to them leaving, but that team in particular gave a lot of people in the city a ton of memories that will last a lifetime, and hopefully Ricky Proehl can come in and give us more memories of the Battlehawks.
Yeah, I agree. Wishing him nothing but the best. All right, we had Ricky run a little bit long there because of technical difficulties, so we'll get into Bet the Board next here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN's Blues Fan of the Week.
Congratulations to Lisa Foster from O'Fallon, Missouri. She is our newest 101 ESPN Blues Fan of the Week.
Submit your pick now at 101ESPN.com to be the next Fan of the Week and take home a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blues game.
Our Blues Fan of the Week is presented by CarStar, your auto body repair experts. Locally owned with nationwide warranty. See us at carstar.com.
BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up for BetMGM using my bonus code Francis, that's FRANCIS, and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet doesn't win. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day. Get into hockey, basketball, and pro football with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today using bonus code Francis to receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. New customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Minimum deposit of $10 to participate. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Now listen to 101 ESPN On Demand. Get caught up on all our shows and podcasts at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app. 101 ESPN podcasts are presented by the Schaefer Door Company. WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN.
Welcome back here to the Fast Lane. 101 ESPN, Jamie Rivers, Bradford Bruns, and Andrew Marsh. And it's time for Bet the Board. And Marshy, did anybody hit on Tuesday?
So Carey and I did. Carey had Williams over 20 and a half rushing yards in the first half. He eclipsed that. And I had the Cowboys minus 5.5 alternate spread. They ended up covering that. You and Anthony did not hit. No. So we are a lot closer than what we were, 2 weeks ago. You're still in the lead, Jamie. You have 10 points. Oof. Anthony has 9. Carey has 9, and I have 9 points as well.
And then tomorrow, I believe, is our last show of the year.
Tomorrow's the last
because
day.
of bowl games and Blues games.
Yes.
So this is going to be interesting.
Yes,
all right.
It will be.
Well, my pick tonight, very surprising, I'm sure, to all the listeners. It's going to be a first period over. Edmonton is in Winnipeg, and right now, Connor McDavid is absolutely on fire. So is that power play. Give me the over at minus 135, please.
I'm looking at the NHL as well tonight. New York Rangers, Carolina Hurricanes. I am going to go with the over 5.5 goals tonight in Carolina, and that's at minus 120.
All right. Carey texted in his pick to me, if we're ready for that. He loves the NBA, as we know. Mm-hmm. And he's got a soft spot for the Wizards. And the Wizards are playing the Phoenix Suns tonight. And Carey says, I don't care that the Wizards are plus 360 in this game. Give me the Wizards money line.
They're playing better ball. They really are. Over the last 2 to 3 weeks, no doubt about it.
Yeah. So Carey Davis, Wizards plus 360.
I was actually surprised that Anthony Stalter texted in a live money line play in the Birmingham Bowl. It's going on right now. Georgia Southern and Appalachian State. Georgia Southern up 26-7. For whatever reason, about midway through that third quarter, Anthony texted in saying he wants Appalachian State on the money line. It's at plus 2,200. He must like Appalachian State. He did go to that game. He was at the Big House when this team ended up upsetting Michigan all those years ago. He was at that game, so he must love something about Appalachian State, and he's going to roll with them tonight on the money, or today, I guess. It's happening right now on the money line.
Live. Bradford, you got to play for us?
Stoltz is simply going back to Eli's roots, App State. I think that's the
big Eli fan.
Primary reason for the play there. I am staying on the home front hockey-wise. I'm looking at an individual player prop actually coming from one, Robert Thomas. Plus 1.5 shots on goal. I know he only had 1 on net in that victory over Nashville over the weekend. Everybody's probably looking toward Booch to maybe reprise his performance from that night. But give me the guy who definitely sent that rubber flying at the Panthers and the Rangers not that long ago. You heard me.
That's well said.
Minus 125.
All right. We got those locked in. Let's see here. Quick notes here. What did you guys think of the Phillip Rivers experiment in Indy?
I enjoyed watching it. Obviously, they didn't get the job done, but I thought it was really cool that he came back and played, and he wasn't terrible by any means.
No,
he did throw a couple interceptions during his 3 games.
On a couch for 5 years.
But I thought that at times he looked better than some of the quarterbacks that we've seen so far this season. What he did at the line of scrimmage before the snap, I just find super intriguing. So to be able to watch those videos, and if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend watching them, but also watching the games live, and sometimes they have those field mics. You could pick that up. So watching that was really fun. I just think it was a very interesting experiment that I enjoyed as a sports fan. And I was really pulling for them. I was hoping that they'd make the playoffs just so he would have another shot at potentially winning a Super Bowl. I never thought that team could actually do it, but I thought it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was amazed. And I do want to have a conversation, a bigger conversation at some point about quarterbacks in the NFL, because it was really intriguing to me that he's been out of the game for 5 years. You can tell the body's beat up still and all that. But the Colts would rather go with that guy than some young guy that can run and pass and all that. And then you see him get up to the line of scrimmage. The very first snap, he's lining up, and he is nailing the coverages. Like picking up this guy, changing the play, moving this guy, putting this guy in motion. Like, it's like he never left. It was amazing to watch him operate. If nothing else for that Colts team, it showed those young players, including the young quarterbacks, what it looks like to be a true pro and a Hall of Famer, quite honestly.
Two different sides to it for me. Number one, the fact that he could get off of the couch after 5 years, go out there and do that and perform with aplomb. Unfortunately, it is a bit of an indictment, more than a bit of an indictment against the quarterback position overall in the NFL right now, except for that upper tier, the most, obviously the biggest tier. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, as somebody, guys, who was a sucker for the narrative, right? Old gunslinger, the veteran fighting against, right, the dying light and so forth. I loved it because you were inserted immediately into the thick of a playoff race. You kept this team relevant. You kept this team in each and every game. And even if it only lasted for 3 games, if we don't see him this coming Sunday, if they opt to go back to Riley Leonard, or maybe Anthony Richardson gets a cameo, who really knows, who really cares? Because one of the biggest defining moments or stretches of the NFL season boils down to Phillip Rivers somehow returning to the game.
It's pretty impressive.
You know, if outside of that game against Seattle, if their defense, and Curb Stomp actually texted this in, and I completely agree, if their defense could stop a cold, they probably win maybe 2 of those games.
They could have won 2 of those games.
You know,
the Niners game was a stretch, but the other 2 are definitely winnable.
But it's not like they didn't put up points in that game. Like those, if the defense does their job, maybe you win 2 of those games. Who knows? Maybe you win 3 if you can stop Seattle from marching down the field after you kick that go-ahead field goal. You stop them. Maybe you're a playoff team. I don't know, but I think that just shows why they're not a playoff team. But overall, I thought it was great to watch.
Quick question: did Phillip Rivers accomplish enough to perhaps save his guy Shane Steichen's job in 26, or is Indy ready to pivot?
Shane Steichen's job's at risk.
He's not?
No, you lose all your quarterbacks. Daniel Jones gets hurt. He plays. Then you're Anthony Richardson. He can't play. He gets hurt. Leonard, I don't think his job's at risk.
I'm not saying there's a better alternative. I'm saying that could be made. The case could be made that maybe you pivot.
I'm sure you can make the case for a lot of coaches, but I think that Carly Ursay, who's so hands-on with this team, knows just how hard it was for Shane Steichen to coach through that, and also to Phillip Rivers coming back. A lot of moving parts there. Either way, it's a fun story. It was very enjoyable, and I'm proud of the old guy. I know he doesn't need my endorsement, but I am a little bit older than him, so I can say I'm proud of you, kid. All right, we've got Coach Jim Montgomery coming up with us next right here on 101 ESPN.
Old man, my ass.
It's time for another moment in Blues history.
On this day back in 2013, the Blues would hold a 3-2 victory over the Dallas Stars in Dallas. Blues would score the first 2 goals, Jaden Schwartz on the power play, TJ Oshie early in the second period. Then Jamie Benn and Ryan Garbutt would score to tie the game in the second. Kevin Shattenkirk on the power play in overtime gave the Blues the winner. Picking up the win was Brian Elliott, stopping 28 of 30 shots.
This date in Blues history is powered by Classic Air Care.
Make your life more comfortable for all your HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs. ClassicAirCare.com.
former pros and one average Joe. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're talking puck with the head coach of your St. Louis Blues, Jim Montgomery. Coach Monty is presented by Fisher Window and Door Store, offering quality American-made Marvin windows and doors. Visit their showrooms in Brentwood and East Alton, Illinois.
It's a Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Bradford Bruns, and we've got the Blues head coach, Jim Montgomery, on the phone line with us. Monty, how we doing, bud?
Rivs, I'm doing great. Heading down to Enterprise Center.
I love it. How was the holiday at the Montgomery house?
It was great. As you remember, you got your kids still believe, and we have one that still believes. It makes it great because everyone's in the spirit of Christmas.
Isn't that awesome? You know, my dad growing up, he always just said, you know what, kids, because as you get older, there's always question marks about just things in life, Marshy. And he always said, I don't know, guys, but every year there's gifts under the tree from Santa. So until there isn't, he's still number one in my books. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, he liked to have a great time with it. Love Christmas as well. Monty, coming out of the Christmas break, you get a nice little gift. You beat the Predators for the first time this year. That had to feel good.
It felt really good, you know, and we were stronger at our net front, couple areas that they beat us at in the previous games, and then I really liked the way we came out flying in the first.
Yeah, obviously, look, as a group of individuals, a team and the coaching staff, you remember those games where they put the screws to you. And it was nice to come out on home ice and to see you guys get after it early. And it was really nice to see a certain individual kind of close the door, man. In the third period, Joel Hofer's playing great. And look, I know we're not getting into a goaltender conversation. Obviously, we here in the Fast Lane know better than that. But you've got to be really happy with the way Joel's playing right now.
Yeah, his development, he has been, really pronounced ever since he came to the league. He's getting better every year, and he's really using his size now in the fact that he's a big goalie, and a lot of pucks are hitting him off deflections, and that's because his positioning has really improved, and he's just calmer back there.
Coach Braden Shen goes to the front of the net, ends up getting that goal for you guys against Nashville. 700 points for Braden Shen. How much, what is his impact as the captain for you guys this season, especially with so many bodies going down?
Well, he just makes everyone feel they're important in the dressing room and how important they are to the team's value on the ice. And it's been yeoman's work for him this year with, the injuries and the struggles we've had. And that wears on a person that cares so much about the team like Braden Shen.
Hey, Coach, what are some of the conversations like with some of the players right now? And the reason I'm asking is you've got guys that are in and out of the lineup, and you have a depleted squad. You have new faces that are up from the minors or other teams. And, you talked about a little bit this morning, some guys maybe aren't necessarily grabbing the opportunity and running with it. So that's forcing you guys as a coaching staff to kind of keep tweaking the lineup a little bit and giving other guys opportunity.
Yeah, we're looking for not just results. We're looking for players who are going to buy in to the way we want to play. That we're going to eliminate turnovers when we don't have odd man rushes. We're going to work on our forecheck. We're going to reload if you're a forwards and get back above pucks. D-men are going to keep tight gaps. And being average isn't what we want to be. So winning 2, losing 2 is not where we want to be. And that's the message to our entire group is let's push the envelope here. Let's raise our standard. And if our standard gets risen, we're already just 2 points out of a playoff spot, and we don't think we've played to our potential. So if we start playing to our potential, we really think we can go out there and grab some playoffs spots.
Coach, you always talk about the habits and details. Where do you feel like your team is right now when it comes to those habits and details that you're always preaching?
We're in the last 6 to 7 games here, it's becoming more consistent what we're seeing and what we should look like. It's still not where we should be, but I'd say we're about 70% of the way there. But that last 30% is the hardest.
Coach, what are you seeing from some of your young guys right now? Dvorsky looks like he's found his way to being a solid spot in the lineup. Otto Stenberg, Jimmy Snuggerud coming back. He just got his first game back, so maybe it's tough to evaluate that. But right now, more than ever, you need these guys to play well.
Yeah, we do. I mean, if we're going to be able to consistently win, we need these young players to not only survive in the league, but start to thrive in the league. And, they've all had moments where they've thrived, but the consistency, which is hard to develop early in your career, as you know, Rivs, that's the part that needs to get there. What are we going to get from you every night when you don't have your A game? Everyone can play when they have legs, but not everyone can adjust their game when they don't have legs and help us win, because you understand how we want to play without the puck and with the puck, without risk.
Coach, you guys take on a team tonight in the Buffalo Sabres, winners of 8 straight. You played them earlier in the season. What are they doing now that is helping them find success compared to when you guys first played them? Is there anything different that you need to key in on?
Well, their defensemen are very impactful at the offensive end, and that's a lot more noticeable with the more possession time they have. They've always scored really talented goals. They're scoring more greasy goals now. They're going hard to hard areas, and that's enabling them to win a lot of hockey games because their checking skills have improved, but the going to hard areas consistently has really made them a good hockey team.
Coach, the announcement earlier today of Pius Suter, reevaluated, I think, is in 4 weeks or so. He's kind of been your jack of all trades for you. He kind of plays all over the lineup, in and out of the power play, penalty kill, all those things. You can't replace a player like that, but who are you looking to kind of seize the moment and kind of maybe emulate what he does in order to take up that ice time? Yeah,
it's a really good question because, we're going to have to look to some of the younger people to do that. In the penalty kill, and there's other guys like Matthew, sees that spot on the penalty kill. Because right now, with Walker out and Suter out and Bukestad out, those are 3 guys that have penalty killed for us during the year. And we got to be making sure that our penalty kill, which is really vastly improved here since the first 15 games of the season, can continue to stay on par with what we've been doing the past 20 games, 25 games. And the other part is who's going to seize the moment. We always use Pius when we were trying to protect the lead, 5v6 empty net goal situation, because he's reliable, he's smart. And it'll be guys like Stenberg, Jake Neighbors, those kind of guys that'll get the opportunity to replace him.
Coach, you just talked about defense. I want to look to the offense. Pavel Buchnevich picks up 2 goals the other night. What have you seen from him, and how has his game evolved since the beginning of the season?
Well, I think in the beginning of the year he was snake-bitten a little bit offensively. And then, he went through a little bit of slump, like a working slump. And right now what I saw last game is the Bucci that just has a great two-way game. When he's really dialed in defensively, he gets way more offensively, and he's in a better rhythm of the game because when he's good defensively, he ends up with the puck a lot more because he's very adept at stealing pucks from behind or anticipating where passes are going and going the other way with it.
All right, Coach. We know I think you're at the rink right now. We're going to let you go do your real job, and we won't be bothering you here much longer. But I'll see you in a little bit. Good luck tonight, man. Wish you nothing but the best.
See you at Enterprise, Ribs. Thanks, gentlemen.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you.
Blues head coach Jim Montgomery was kind enough to once again join us on a game day. Some coaches are wonky about that, Marshy. They talk to the media in the morning, and I always thought this was kind of interesting, is even players sometimes like, no media on a game day, or the coach not on a game day. When you're a coach in the NHL, Major League Baseball, NFL, you have nothing but media on a game day.
Exactly.
Show up to the rink or the field or the ballpark, and you've got to talk to the media. Then you have more media after the game. Your whole day is filled with interviews, and some coaches just don't. Maybe they just don't want to be bothered.
Well, that's probably it too.
Which is fine.
Well, I wonder if Coach Montgomery thinks
that they'd like us.
Well, that's kind of my point. I wonder if he thinks, well, I'm not really talking to the media. I'm talking to my buddies. We're just having a casual phone call about hockey.
Maybe he feels sorry for us.
Maybe that's
and he's
probably
like,
it.
oh man, those poor guys. I mean, I've heard their show, and it's.
That's
Maybe
probably
I'll
what it
jump
is.
on there and maybe give him the Jim Montgomery bump a little bit. Yeah. Either way, we appreciate the head coach coming on here all the time. He's just a good guy. He's a lot of fun to talk to, and he gives us great information. So thanks again to Jim Montgomery. Coming up next, let's talk some playoff football, college style. 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN is powered by Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Tomorrow, it's a College Bowl doubleheader. Game 1, the Music City Bowl, Illinois and Tennessee. Game 2, it's the Alamo Bowl, TCU and USC. Coverage begins at 4. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Scorching Sabres visit Enterprise Center. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Buffalo Sabres carry an 8-game winning streak into tonight's road clash versus St. Louis. Puck drop set for 7 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN. While Lindy Ruff's team has soared of late, STL also prevailed Saturday, downing Nashville 3-2. NFL Week 17 culminates with Rams-Falcons this evening. About 17 hours ago, local product Rutherford in the third erupted 138 receiving yards, though San Francisco edged Chicago 42-38. Bird did injure his quad as quarter 4 expired. Your Sports Center update was powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Buckle up. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Welcome back inside the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. Your time check, Marshy, 3:34. It's brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. Okay, college football playoffs. We have some interesting games coming up. Why don't we talk about Miami, Ohio State? Do we really believe Miami has any hope in hell here, guys?
I do. I really do. Yeah, no, I think their front line is very good. I think I don't know if they win. But I think that they are going to give
9.5-point dog right now.
No, I know. There's something about Miami. I think they have playmakers. I think the big question for them will be Carson Beck. If Carson Beck shows up to play and he plays well, they have a shot. If he is not good, it won't even be close. But I think Miami is here for a reason. They took down a Texas A&M team who you could argue was not as good as maybe their record showed, as they fell to Miami last week. Or not, I guess it wasn't this past weekend. Gosh, they should have had games on this weekend.
I know. I felt like we were robbed of something.
We were totally robbed. I know we had some NFL games, but this would have been just a great weekend for college football.
It's been a while.
But, you lose to Texas as well. So, I do think Miami has a shot here. I love Bradford, you brought up narratives, right? Ooh. I love this narrative going back to the early 2000s, the national championship game between these two teams.
2003, hit me with it.
So, I think Miami will give them a game. For how long, I do not know. But if Ohio State leaves this team, if they leave Miami in the game into the fourth quarter, they better be worried. I think Miami could pull off the upset.
This is a big number for a quarterfinal contest, okay? With Ohio State, whether it's 9 or 9.5 being favored. And by the same token, guys, I stumped for this individual early in the season when he looked like a would-be Heisman, I don't want to say front runner, but in contention for the hardware maybe, and that was Carson Beck. The second half was difficult at times. The majority of that game versus Texas A&M was very difficult. If Miami can't figure out a way to push the ball downfield, and I'm not sure how that happens against a much better secondary, mind you, for the Buckeyes, I'm not banking on, with all due respect, I love the story of Mark Fletcher Jr. Look it up. He is the primary reason as to why this team won at Kyle Field. If you can't grind out this game, and I don't have a lot of confidence in Miami's ability to do so in the trenches against OSU, I also think that, quite frankly, Julian Sayin this season for Ohio State, yes, he's surrounded by NFL caliber talent. Jeremiah Smith as well as Cardinal Tate are going to be top 10 draft picks perhaps as soon as next season for Tate. I don't think that he has received quite as much love, quite honestly, as he should have received for the better part of this season. And then also to boot, when you think about the ground attack, a true freshman, a freshman running back in a Bo Jackson. Ohio State is balanced, and dare I say, Ohio State is set up better right now, despite being the number 2 seed, to actually win the entire thing. I'm serious. I just don't give Miami much of a chance in this tilt.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I had Miami losing to A&M. I was wrong about that. But they only put up 10 points against A&M. I don't see A&M being a match to Ohio State. Like, I know Ohio State, there's some teams have had some success on them running the football, but I don't see this being a competitive game.
The conditions were brutal, though.
Conditions, I also...
But for both teams.
Yes, for sure. I think A&M their defense is, no joke by any means. They got a solid defense. Ohio State has a really good defense as well. I think if Miami's going to win this game, they have to stretch the field and they have to get the ball into their playmakers' hands. Malachi Toney, you mentioned Mark Fletcher Jr.
Yeah,
that is their that's their bread and butter because Carson Beck.
I don't think he has eligibility.
Are you sure though?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a new thing now apparently in college
he might have
sports.
a year left. You never
Maybe
know.
I don't know. Carson Wentz definitely after what I watched this year.
Well, Kevin O'Connell tried to kill him.
Well, you're not wrong. I don't think Carson Beck can win this game alone. Miami's defense is going to have to show up. We saw when they played Texas A&M. It's not like Texas A&M can't score. I thought Miami's defense played really well. I think there's a chance. I really do think that there's a chance. We have to take in consideration that Ohio State hasn't played in a while, and that has been a real thing for some of these teams in the college football playoff.
So that is a question that I've been kind of mulling over in my head. Is it a disadvantage not to play, or does Ryan Day now have an unbelievable book on Miami? Having watched them play, he's had a chance to organize the entire game plan. He's watched what worked, what didn't work for A&M. Not that they weren't prepared before, but they also haven't had to prepare their own team to play somebody while preparing for the opposition.
I think regardless, you're taking that bye each and every day of the week, and it isn't just Ryan Day, even though I do think at this stage in his career, despite the natty now, and a victory at long last against Michigan too, still criminally underrated even among his peers, but the staff that he has assembled, and we know that Hartline obviously is leaving as far as the OC is concerned, but think about the seamless transition. Talent aside, if we can do that for just a second, on the defensive side of the football, Jim Knowles thought the grass was greener going to Happy Valley. How did that work out? He has now gone from Penn State to join Josh Heupel's staff in Knoxville. But Matt Patricia, after the uber-long NFL exodus, comes in, immediately uses all this talent at his disposal, and I would say that it's not a matter of Ohio State barely missing a beat, but rather this defense, in my estimation, now we see what Jack Sawyer is doing currently on Sundays with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it is upgraded insofar as this unit simply doesn't make mistakes. It will create turnovers, but it doesn't make mistakes. I think it's more disciplined, frankly, than Indiana as far as run fits, run gaps, all of that. And I want it to be a game, Marshy, into the fourth quarter. I really do. Yeah. But at a certain point, the ground and pound style, it fits Ohio State more, I think.
Well, I think Miami, and we've seen this pretty much throughout the season, I believe Miami plays to their opponent's level, and that's why they've lost a few games. And that's why I say if Miami can take this game into the fourth quarter and it is a close game, I think that bodes well for them. You have confidence heading into a fourth quarter game at the Cotton Bowl against the number 2 team in the nation, a team that won the national championship last year, a team that people like you think they will win again. I just think things could get interesting in the fourth quarter, and that's why I think Miami has a shot. I don't know if they win. I just think they have a shot.
I understand what you're saying, but that's hoping that Miami's still close enough come fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, for sure. I don't know if this is going to be one of those things where, the game could be over in the first quarter. It absolutely could. Or it could be a tight one. And obviously, that's an obvious statement.
It plays to Miami's favor if it's a tight one.
And that's my point. I think Miami can keep it tight. That's just my opinion. Who knows if it happens, but a lot of people weren't high on Miami heading into round one, including you, Jamie. And they managed to win that game on the road.
Playoff, too.
Period.
Exactly.
And to your point as well, if Ohio State, which has been suspect even this season in terms of starting the game in a strong manner, getting out of the proverbial gates, if you pull off what you did, or if you're lethargic offensively a la the Michigan game and Sayin is harassed into an early turnover, then maybe you can do something, because this is a Hurricanes defense. It's solid. It can be feast or famine, though. It is built on creating some turnovers. So all of a sudden, if you start that avalanche, that's the only way, frankly, I think you can flip the field position and have it go out your way.
Well, it's going to be exciting either way. I'm really looking forward to the next round of playoffs here. Ohio State, Miami is going to be one of many great games to check out. So we're going to continue today and tomorrow to talk about these college football playoff matchups. We'll have the Oregon-Texas Tech talk in the 5 o'clock hour. But coming up next, Blues Cues. If you have any questions regarding the Blues, text them in. 314-399-9646. We'll do Blues Cues and Light the Lamp next here on 101 ESPN.
St. Louis Blues hockey can be heard exclusively on 101 ESPN. Get the info you need before and after every Blues game with a First Community pre- and post-game show. First Community Credit Union.
Take your best shot with First Community and presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company.
Strap yourself in. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. Now, it's time for the Fast Lane's Blues Cues.
Welcome back here into the Fast Lane 101 ESPN Blues Cues. So again, get your questions to the Air Comfort Service text line, number 314-399-9646. Bradford, what do we got?
Jamie, the people are curious. They are curious about how, this one coming from the 314 to lead us off, how do we live in a world in which Lindy Ruff's Buffalo Sabres are going for 9 straight wins?
Yeah, it's a wild one. Look, the Buffalo Sabres have really, they have gathered a boatload of talent over the years by being terrible at hockey. And now that talent, they finally picked the right guys. And the one thing that I like about their team right now, like Tage Thompson, he's an elite player. Alex Tuck is turning into an elite player. Rasmus Dahlin is an elite player. Josh Doan is going to be a future star player. Like, you go down the list, Marshy, Bowen Byram is another guy. Peyton Krebs is Owen Power. Like, this team should be good.
Yeah.
But they've always been kind of perimeter, soft, some would say. They got called out, what was it, last year? Something happened to Tage Thompson. Nobody did anything, and everybody's like, "Eek, that team hates each other." They didn't there was no response to a cheap shot. The media was calling him soft. Well, they've changed that narrative. And we heard Jim Montgomery talk about how they're playing gritty hockey now. They're playing playoff style game. So it's a team now that has to be taken serious.
Yeah, they have a rabid fan base. They're a really good team at home, 12-5-2 on the road, under 500. Hopefully the Blues can take advantage of that. I don't know why that seems to be the case for some teams. Some teams just play better on the road than at home, and vice versa. We know the Blues, they were a better road team the year they won the Stanley Cup. Last year they were a really good home team, especially towards the end of the year. Hopefully the Blues can take advantage of the Sabres not being the same team on the road, even though they've won 8 games in a row. I don't know if I'm necessarily sold on the Sabres. I know they're playing well right now, but it's not even 2026 yet. There's a lot of great teams in the Eastern Conference. You look at the wild card right now compared to the bottom half of the playoff picture in the West. I just think that there's better Eastern Conference teams, and by the end of the season, I think the Sabres will fall under that line, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll have a bad year. But if you're a Sabres fan, you got to be excited about what you're witnessing right now, because the team is playing really well, and it kind of stinks that the Blues are catching them right now during their hot streak.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this one. I don't know how practical it is, but we will roll with it from the 314. Jamie, can you imagine any sort of a situation in which Alex Steen, like Phillip Rivers, returns to the ice for a few games to power up his team and give it the boost it needs?
Yeah, absolutely not. As much as I love the Phillip Rivers story, playing quarterback in the NFL lends itself, in the right concept with the right protection, to an athlete that doesn't necessarily have to be as mobile all the time. Look at Ben Roethlisberger at his end of his career, like some of the older guys. Like, you don't have to be moving around the pocket like Patrick Mahomes does.
Right.
Whereas hockey, you can't not skate.
Right, exactly.
You can't not play the game. And I've skated with Alex a few times post-retirement, and look, he's still a smooth skater. He still passes the puck. He's still a great player. But none of us can elevate our game to that level that wouldn't be, I don't want to say embarrassing, but would make you shake your head at yourself a little bit.
Well, and like you said, you continue to play with the alumni, and I'm sure that hockey IQ never goes away.
No, in fact, it gets better.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets better. I'm a smarter hockey player now than when I played.
And you've mentioned coaching, right? Like, you wish that you what was it, vice versa in terms of coaching and playing. But the speed at which these players are playing now, I don't know if that could ever happen. I mean, look at Milan Lucic. Like, we were kind of excited for him to bring an element of physicality to this team, but for whatever reason, injuries or just maybe the speed wasn't there for him, and the age, and it just didn't work out. And now I think he's playing in.
He's over in the British League.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. Saw some stuff on social media about him. So.
And finally, from Grant Francis Fan Club, guys, on how many teams do you think Robert Thomas would be the number one center? Roughly.
Okay. So we kind of did this exercise last week, remember, Marshy?
Yeah, we did.
And
we can just go through every single team if we want.
The Red Wings? Who's their number one center? Is it Patrick Kane?
Is it not Larkin?
Oh, no, I don't think does Larkin play center? Yeah, he's a centerman. So, yeah, I'd say no. In Detroit. Buffalo, no. You got Tage Thompson. Eesh. I don't know if I like this question. Tampa Bay, no. Montreal, no.
Well, why don't we look at the teams that are in the playoffs right now?
That's what I'm doing. I'm going through the Eastern Conference right now. Carolina, probably not. Islanders, probably. Probably. Number one center, the Island.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
The Flyers, who's their number one center right now? Konechny's a winger. Maybe I'm missing something here.
God, I haven't paid attention to them all year.
So Michkov's a winger.
Oh, you have Trevor Zegras.
But
and Christian Dvorak.
I would take Thomas over Zegras. I don't know. That's a really good question. It'd probably take us way too much time to think about all this.
Zegras is having a pretty good
He
season.
is, but overall, are you putting him on the ice the last minute of the game with you were 5-on-6? Zegras?
For defensive purposes, probably not.
No, you're not. I wouldn't be. Colorado would be no. Dallas, no. Minnesota, no. Vegas, no. You got Jack Eichel there. McDavid's pretty good in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Kopitar is still really good in L.A.
Would you take Thomas over Leo Carlsson? I would say no.
I'd probably say no, just because of where Leo Carlsson is right now in his career, and he's only, 19 years old or something? 20?
Yeah, he's only been in the league for a few years, and, I mean, he is having a great year. He's 21, 04 birth year.
Oof.
But then again, like, he was a first-round pick, second pick overall. Robert Thomas wasn't that type of player.
I'm with you. So, I don't know. But it's a tricky question. It's fun to experiment. Do we have one more?
We need to light that lamp.
Oh, that's right. Yes. That's right. Good thing, Brad. Good job, Brad. Let's light that lamp!
And a couple of guys can really shoot the puck.
Shooter! I must confess you scored first.
Well, who was the first person?
Breakaway! Shoots! Score! We got hockey to learn.
All right, Carey Davis in the lead.
Yeah, he picked up 3 points last week because Pius Suter ended up scoring, and he is not available anymore. But Pius Suter gives Carey the lead. He has 13 points. Jamie, you're still stuck at 10. I have 6. Anthony has 3.
Carey texted me his pick for today. He's got a hunch, guys. He's got a hunch. Thinks that Logan Mailloux is going to score today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, come on, Logan.
He
Mailloux.
has before.
He has scored once before.
He has.
I have no choice. Jake Neighbors. I have no choice. I've been saying him for 10 games now, and the 2 games where he scored were games on the weekend where I couldn't pick him. So, all right, Marshy, who's next?
So I'm up next, and this guy was a healthy scratch the last time the Blues played the Sabres. Not that.
Oh, you're taking Anthony's guy.
I'm taking Jordan Kyrou.
Wow.
Yeah. Jordan Kyrou tonight. He, I believe, will pot 2 goals tonight. Give me a couple extra points.
Okay. Anthony sent his pick in as well. He's got Otto Stenberg scoring his first NHL goal.
Okay.
Bradford, what about you?
Bold, and I love it. I, too, have a hunch, boys. Like Carey, it's on the blue line. This gentleman actually fired off 7 shots on net a little over a week ago against those Panthers in kind of a topsy-turvy game. Give me Tyler Tucker. Take your shot. Yeah.
I like it. All right, so that was Light the Lamp. Your Blues play tonight, 7 p.m. Pregame starts at 6 p.m. right here with Alex Ferrario, Jordan Deacon, and the crew for the 101 ESPN team. I'm headed down to Enterprise Center for the game tonight, but the Gauntlet coming up next. Do we need a contestant?
We already have a contestant. David will join us next, and we have a special guest who you alluded to earlier in the show that will be joining us for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Making his debut in the fast lane, getting called up. Let's hope he doesn't blow it. All right, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of the way. Gauntlet coming up next. 101 ESPN.
New year, new Jamie jersey giveaway. This month, I'm giving away a signed Jake Neighbors Winter Classic Blues jersey. It is phenomenal. We all know how good they looked up there in Chicago. Well, it's going to look great on you as well. Register to win that autographed Neighbors jersey right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. Jamie's jersey giveaway is presented by St. Luke's, ranked the top 2% in the nation for cardiac surgery by Health Grades. Visit StLukes-STL.com. blues talk? Check out the Last Minute Blues podcast with Alex Ferrario, Donnie Fandango, and Jeremy Rutherford on 101 ESPN. The guys bring you the latest news and nuggets on your St. Louis Blues.
The Last Minute Blues podcast is presented by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Your St. Louis roofing experts. Visit BlueNoteRoofing.com for a free inspection. Watch or listen to the Last Minute Blues podcast now at 101ESPN.com.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis. 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return. Don't slow down. You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. 4 warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. It is time for the Gauntlet. We have Bradford Bruns here. I'm Andrew Marsh, and Jamie is down, or he is heading down to the Enterprise Center right now for the Blues game. We have Jackson Burkett joining us from TMA. Before we get to the Gauntlet, before we get to David, Jackson, welcome to the show.
So good to be here, man. Bradford, how are you?
Doing great, sir, in spite of the circumstances in Jacksonville, am I right?
Yeah, well, we'll you know what we're going to do is we're going to power through it together.
Yes, well, we'll dive into that. But first, we got to get to the Gauntlet. We have David on the line. David, Collier and Thompson phone line. Are you ready for the Gauntlet, David?
Yes, I am. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. So we have Bradford, who's here. He typically writes the questions. He is eliminated from the options, but you have me and you have Jackson Burkett. Who do you want to go up against today?
Let's go Jackson.
Yes. Right, we had a feeling that you might want to pick Jackson.
Dude, imagine if I get hockey. Like what?
I was kind of hoping you would.
It will truly be
on the same level, Jackson.
All right. That's good to hear at least.
All right. Well, Jackson, you got to head to the Cone of Silence. I know
Okay.
you've been sitting
Cone
there
of
for
Silence.
like 2 hours already.
Right in and then right out. That's
There
how
you
I
go.
like it.
All right, David, you chose Jackson. We need you to spin the wheel, and we'll see what category you get today.
Spin that wheel.
Now, David, you said you alluded to not wanting hockey. Is there a specific category that you do want today?
Really, either of the other 3.
All right. How about random? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Random is your category today. For those that do not know the rules of the Gauntlet, David and Jackson will get 4 questions each. If you get the question correct without using the options, you get 2 points. If you have to use the options and you get it correct, you get 1 point. And, of course, if you get it wrong, 0 points will be awarded. Are you ready, David, for random?
Yes, I am.
All right. Rob Reiner directed the 1986 movie Stand By Me. Who wrote the novel that the movie is based on?
Options.
Options are Stephen King, Anne Rice, or Tom Clancy.
Who was the second one? That's the outlier.
Anne Rice is option B.
Let's go Anne Rice.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, David. Question number 2. In the Christmas Carol, 12 Days of Christmas, what did my true love send to me on the 10th day?
Options.
Option A, ladies dancing. B, lords a-leaping. Or C, pipers piping.
Piper's piping.
Final answer?
Yes.
Question number 3. The New York Knicks won the NBA Cup championship over the Spurs last week. Who won the first ever NBA Cup in 2023?
The Lakers.
Final answer?
Yep.
And finally, David, the World Cup begins in June in North America. Can you tell us the country that has won the most FIFA World Cups?
Let's just say Brazil.
Final?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's get Jackson back in here. David, how you feeling about today's random?
50-50.
50-50. All right. I have a feeling that this could fall in line with Jackson's wheelhouse. So we'll have to see. Jackson, how was the Cone of Silence?
It was nice.
Pretty silent?
Yeah, it was nice to take a break after 4 minutes of work.
Right. I feel like we're the only people in the building right now.
It's eerie.
Yeah, it's not many of you. So I'm glad to be a part of it, though.
Are you ready for the gauntlet?
Yeah, what's the category?
Random.
No, I'm so excited.
I figured you would be. All right.
Beautiful.
Pack a lunch, by the way.
Okay, all right, we'll see.
We'll see. Question number 1. Rob Reiner directed the 1986 movie Stand By Me. Who wrote the novel that the movie is based on?
Stephen King.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Jackson, question number 2. In the Christmas Carol, 12 Days of Christmas, what did my true love send to me on the 10th day?
Oh. It's like a little rhyme thing, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of it's a partridge in a pear tree. Ooh, yeah, this is going to be a tough one for me. I'll take the options, Bradford.
Yes, sir. Ladies dancing, lords a-leaping, pipers piping.
So many wonderful options. Give me Lords a-leaping.
Final answer?
Yeah, final answer.
All right, question
So
number
much
3.
pressure.
The New York Knicks won the NBA Cup championship over the Spurs.
They sure did.
Who won the first ever NBA Cup in 2023?
Los Angeles Lakers.
Final answer.
Yeah.
And finally, the World Cup, Jackson, begins in June in North America. Can you tell us the country that has claimed the most FIFA World Cups?
There's only been like 7 or 8 teams that have actually won it. It's either Spain or Brazil. I'll go Brazil. Final answer. I don't want any options.
All right, let's go over these questions today. Jackson versus David. Let's start with the question that you just answered, Jackson. The World Cup begins this June in North America. Which country has won the most FIFA World Cups? Jackson, we just heard your answer. You said Brazil without taking the options. David also said Brazil. The correct answer is...
With a grand total of 5, it's not Italy, it's not Germany, it's Brazil.
Nice.
David also did not use the options.
Good for you, David.
2-2. We got a 2-2 score. The New York Knicks won the NBA Cup championship over the Spurs, who won the first ever NBA Cup in 2023. Jackson, you said the Los Angeles Lakers. David also said the LA Lakers. The correct answer is...
Well, the Knicks may not be raising a banner, but the Lakers did.
Yeah.
We have ourselves at 4-4.
Nice.
4-4 ball game. David did not use the options. Let's go to question number 2. In the Christmas Carol, 12 Days of Christmas, what did my true love send to me on the 10th day? Jackson, you took the options and said Lords a-leaping. David said Pipers piping. He took the options, though. The correct answer is...
Either way, love the alliteration. Lords a-leaping.
All right, Jackson.
That was correct?
You're correct. You're up by 1 right now, heading into the final question. Rob Reiner directed the 1986 movie Stand By Me. Who wrote the novel that the movie is based on? Jackson, you're up by 1. David took the options and went with Anne Rice.
No, it was called The Body by Stephen King.
If it is Anne Rice, because you took Stephen King, Jackson,
Yeah.
we're going to have ourselves a walk-off. However, if it's Stephen King, Jackson, in your debut on the Gauntlet, you will come out victorious.
Yeah.
David.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose. Not today.
Sorry, David, it was Stephen King. Jackson gets you today, but we appreciate you playing today in the Gauntlet and, of course, listening to the Fast Lane.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good holiday.
Absolutely, you as well. Happy New Year, David.
You too.
Happy New Year, David. Wow. Look at that. I went 4 for 4.
Jackson, stay for a while, my man.
4 for 4.
I had a feeling when random got brought up and I was reading all these questions, I had a feeling that you would know almost every single one of them.
That's got to be my best guy. The Lords of the rhyme, whatever that poem is, that was a complete shot in the dark.
Not in your wheelhouse?
The other ones, yeah. The other one, the Stephen King, I just did an episode of Movie Boy about Rob Reiner, so yeah.
I had a feeling you would know that.
And Stand By Me is like one of my favorite movies.
That was also, in recent memory, one of the fastest gauntlets we've had.
Oh, that was super fast.
My gosh.
I just looked at the time. It's 4:10. That's your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jackson, we're going to dive into some Mizzou football today.
Oh.
We're going to get into
I was worried about
the
that.
NFL. We're going to talk with Jeremy Rutherford at 4:30.
God, I love that, JR.
And I was thinking today with JR, maybe we do it like TMA style where we go to the text line.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
If you want to send Jeremy Rutherford a text, you have a question for him, please do so. Text the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. We will talk with our Blues insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, at 4:30. But I have a feeling that we're going to go long here with this Mizzou content because Mizzou had an opportunity to win a bowl game, gentlemen, and they did not get it done. If you stopped watching after that first drive, you may have thought that team won the football game. That was not the case. We're going to dive into Mizzou's loss to the Virginia Cavaliers. We'll get to that next right here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
This is Jake Neighbors, and it's game day on your home of the Blues 101 ESPN.
Blues Game Day on 101 ESPN is presented by Buffalo Wild Wings, the ultimate arena for wings and wins. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Everybody's got to grow and learn from their reps, and it's his third start, right? So I thought he did some really good things. Obviously, wish we could have that interception back. I think there was just a couple of throws that we were a little bit late to. But overall, I thought he gave us an opportunity, and that's all he could ask for. It was really on me. I didn't do a good enough job calling plays for him.
That's Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkwitz talking about the play calling, his quarterback Zollers. That's courtesy of Mizzou Athletics, alongside Jackson Burkett, TMA, and Bradford Bruns. I'm Andrew Marsh. Guys, let's dive into this Mizzou loss to Virginia, 13-7. That was the final. And according to the 314, let's not fret too much about this Gator Bowl. Nobody cares about meaningless lower-tier bowl games anyways. Guys, I think we're going to spend this time to talk about this lower-tier bowl game. So why don't we dive into it? Two huge Mizzou fans right here. What did you guys make of the game itself and where the program is heading into the future, especially with the play calling?
Well, in essence, Marshy, you mentioned it, the tease for this segment there a few moments ago. If you missed the first drive, if you missed the last drive, basically that constituted the substance for the game for Old Mizzou. And there were, I understand, the reservations about when you're playing in a lesser than or secondary rung bowl, that you're not going to get hyped up about it in the same way that maybe you even did a couple of seasons ago, Cotton Bowl against OSU, albeit playing against third stringers galore. Mm-hmm. Because Jackson, as you well know, Eli Drinkwitz, the trump card was leading into the matchup, trying to get his guys motivated in the locker room and whatnot. You were trying to still accomplish something that the program had not attained at any point in the history, and that would have been 3 consecutive seasons of at least 9 victories. And yet there were so many things, quite honestly, swirling around the program leading into this game that had nothing to do with the on-field product that we ultimately observed. Case in point, a little over a week ago, you learned, okay, Bo Prabula, whether you wanted to see him in that bowl contest or not, he was going to be your guy, announcing his intention to hit the transfer portal. You're bringing in a new offensive coordinator next season in Chip Lindsey. These are bigger picture issues, but then factor in with those elements too, the departures, the additional individuals opting out or going elsewhere. Josh Manning, Marquise Johnson, Zion Young. Did you even know if he would play in light of the DWI arrest? You had all of these things materializing, and I really do believe that it was a question of whether the focus would be there for 4 full quarters in Jacksonville. Virginia Jackson, to me, there was no doubt about it in my mind, smarting off of that ACC title game lost in overtime to Duke, a team that was looking for a school record, which it was able to obtain, 11 victories overall. And a few different things stood out to me. Number one, following that first drive, Tony Elliott, frankly, out-coached Eli Drinkwitz, out-coached him in circles. People will point to once again and complain about the fact that Ahmad Hardy had just 15 touches, 489 yards, but if you took away that majestic 43-yard run on the first drive, there wasn't much. And yet the Cavs persistently did what? Loaded the box because absolutely no one on that side was scared of Matt Zollers. And the biggest element that you were hoping to see, I think, going into this contest, moving it forward, spinning it forward to go into 2026, you wanted to see a good to great performance against a mid-tier ACC defense because you wanted to be more excited about your quarterback prospects for next year. Now, in my estimation, not just viewing this in a vacuum, but if you're Mizzou, and I don't know how much you have in the way of funds that you can allocate and that you can repurpose to next season, but that to me demonstrated that you need to take a swing in the portal at a guy for no other reason than to be able to have someone to compete alongside of Matt Zollers, because with all due respect, he was never supposed to make an imprint on the program this season. This was a watch year, a sit and observe year, and next season perhaps you would have handed the baton to him to be the backup. He needs competition, and we saw much evidence of that on Saturday night.
Marshy, the biggest loser, bigger than Missouri, on Saturday was me watching that game. There I was, applying my clown makeup as I watched yet Missouri's offense falter again. And they coming
by yourself, by the way?
No, I was
live stream.
No, never again. I was with some friends.
Yeah,
we were all painting the clown makeup on each other.
Okay.
And that's like coming off the heels of the bragging rights game, which was like the second half especially was truly embarrassing to watch. Like not entertaining in the slightest, not fun, embarrassing, like truly an awful viewing experience. And then you pair that up like a nice wine pairing you get at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like, oh, with that nothing burger of a basketball game pairs really nice with this, this dry offense, this red wine offense that we got here from. It's like it was so boring to watch. The first drive. I mean, how many times have we seen Missouri look great on a first scripted drive and then have zero offense? The Oklahoma game is a prime example. They marched right down the field at a penalty, kicked a field goal, but that was the only time the offense looked competent. And so it begs the question: is the issue talent? Is the issue play calling? Is the issue the quarterback? If I had to guess right now, I would probably say it's quarterback play, but like Bradford said, Matt Zollers was not planning on playing this season. You had Sam Horn, you had Bo Proehl. Those were going to be your quarterbacks. Zollers is coming off an injury himself from high school. There was thoughts he might not ever play football again after his injury in high school. So I do think the big question now is what do you do for the quarterback position going into next year? Do you take a portal swing or do you just have faith in Zollers?
I think that they need to take a portal swing. As it pertains to this game, you mentioned how boring it was, and it was boring.
So boring.
They still had an opportunity to win that game,
sure.
And I feel like they should have. I don't think Virginia is that great of a football team, and maybe my expectations for Mizzou are greater than what they actually should be.
Yeah.
And I truly believe that that's probably the case. But you had an opportunity to win that game, and these are reps for Zollers that are important, regardless of how the game went for the full 60. He had an opportunity in the final drive to march down the field and win that game, and they just didn't get it done.
Oh, terrible. No, they look terrible. And generally speaking, I want to say this. I don't care about bowl games. Like, from a general, I don't. And, outside
of the CFP.
Well, CFP, way different.
Right.
Would care a lot about that. The bowl games that aren't CFP, Bradford brought up the thing about 3 straight seasons with 9 wins. In my mind, they won 10 games in 2023. The Ohio State game, sweet, but I don't count that towards the ledger.
No stickers on the helmet.
No stickers. I had nine wins in 2024. I don't count you can say, well, the back-to-back season double-digit wins. I don't a bowl game, and then this year, they were locked in at 8 wins to me. That's how I view this. I don't care really about bowl games that don't play in the CFP, but I do think it's interesting because Zollers had a chance to get in-game reps against the college football team that was one overtime session away from going to the CFP. If Virginia beats Duke, they're in the CFP. So it's not like they were playing a bad football team by any means. I just don't put much stock in it from an overall program health perspective. I don't, but from Zollers' perspective, that's what's the interesting part.
Well, especially with the guys that he was throwing the ball to. You still have Ahmad Hardy, and you have your
Donovan Olubade, the wide receiver still.
But you don't have your full complement of players. So. For me, I think this season for Mizzou was I'll say it, I think it was a failure based on everything that we expected this team to be. And maybe people didn't really expect them to be better, expect them to be better than what they were.
7.5 was the win total, in fairness. 7.5 was the projected win total from Las Vegas. So they did cover the over.
That's fair. But when I go online and I see, other people saying, well, this team can, why you need to respect this
soft
team.
Schedule.
Then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I am disrespecting this team a little bit. Maybe they are better than what I'm thinking that they are.
It is more than fair to basically take the season now, full inventory of the year, and be disappointed if you're a Missouri zealot or just a casual fan, because all of the circumstances, absolutely everything aligned for you perfectly this season. When you think about the fact that you began the year with an unprecedented 6 consecutive home games, the bulk of which came against pedestrian competition. At the time, we thought, oh, maybe this is a legitimate victory against KU. That didn't age well. You had each and every opportunity to win that game. Frankly, I still contend you should have against Alabama at Proehl Field. And then everything turned thereafter. Now, some of it was a confluence of events. Obviously, you had Proehl go down shortly thereafter against Vanderbilt in Nashville. But even then, it's not as if he was proceeding to light the world on fire in SEC play. And it's okay to say this. You took a swing on Proehl in the portal. It didn't work out. It didn't materialize. The bigger question, Jackson, we've talked about it now, can you actually be able to come up with enough, conjure up enough of that money to be able to give Zollers real legitimate competition? Because I thought it was interesting after the game, Marshy, when you heard Eli Drinkwitz speaking about the mainstays, as much as you can call them that in current college football, he referenced 4 players and 4 players alone who had been locked in at that point in time. Hardy, Zollers, the D tackle, Jalen Marshall, and Nick Rodriguez, who was fantastic, by the way, at linebacker. linebacker. Beyond that, you have a bunch of questions. You have a bunch of issues there. Not that any of the SEC heavyweights don't also have the same issues, but I am wondering, when you're talking about a guaranteed 20.5 that you can take, that you can spread around, how much of that is going to number 29 in the backfield? Can you even wade into those waters, Jackson?
Right, and that's the thing is, like, you have to ask yourself, like Matt's out, like there's so many college quarterbacks who are not ready to play in the SEC in their true freshman season. So I don't think like you can say like this is what Zollers is going to look like. I contend he will get better. He will develop. So if you have faith in that, it would likely behoove you to allocate the money elsewhere. How much has offensive line helped Missouri? Like the offensive line in 2023 is the reason I contend that they are where they were in 2023 is because they had a dominant offensive line and a great defense.
And your best portal addition this past season turned out to be Keegan Trost. We didn't see that happening.
Right. You could make the argument for Damon Wilson too, but either way, like the line, it's not necessarily skill guys or quarterbacks that can make the difference. Now, you absolutely have to have a guy who can move the ball down the field. Because I don't care how good your running backs are. We've seen it time and time again. Ahmad Hardy can be a Doak Walker finalist. But if there's no threat to pass the football, it's going to be pretty easy. We saw Virginia do it. Just load the box. We saw so many teams do it. The good teams figured out all they got is the guys in the backfield, Hardy and Roberts. If you stop them, you stop Missouri.
And that's been a question, at least in my opinion, for this team, this offense for a few years now, stretching the football and really getting the most out of your players, most out of the quarterback position. I don't think that Eli Drinkwitz has done that up until this point. Maybe Brady Cook, you make the argument.
2023 was a good football team. That was legit. That was a team that would have made the college football playoff if there was a 12-team playoff.
100%. But outside of Brady Cook, this year, and I know your quarterback got injured. I don't know if you win those games with him.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Blake Craig got injured. How many times did that rear its ugly head when you don't have a kicker? And why don't you have a good backup kicker? Tim did a whole thing on it a few months ago, but you didn't have a kicker. Blake Craig got hurt in the first, like that first game, Horn going down and Craig going down, there was ripple effects felt throughout the season. Obviously, when Proehl went down against Vandy, how nice would it have been to have Sam Horn there? And then how many times were you like, well, it's 4th and 5 and we're at the 30. Now we have to go for it because we don't have a kicker.
Special teams and quarterback play. And so to that end, Marshy, we talked about it briefly before the start of the show. Obviously, next season, you'll have a slightly different complexion. Some Mizzou fans are hoping for a big-time change stylistically as far as calling the plays, bringing in Chip Lindsey. And I prefer not to focus a lot on what he did in his one season in Ann Arbor. Okay, that's nice. Underwood was fine as a true freshman, but take it back. Because not to be the prisoner of the moment here, but this is legitimate, this is tangible, it's what we know. Previously, in the 2 years at Chapel Hill, the OC for UNC, with whom did he work? Whose growth did he oversee? Oh, that's right, Drake May. So you could make the case that it depends on whoever you're wooing, basically. What is your biggest calling card? What's your trump card there?
It's Drake, May.
I saw that. I don't understand it.
I don't really get it either, but I find it funny.
Yeah, I like it. Consider me in on it. Consider me in on it. I saw something also, by the way, non sequitur. They were saying which has the better alternate red uniforms, the Patriots or the Bills?
Ooh, Patriots.
That's what everyone said. Yeah, because the helmets.
You got to put the helmets in there too.
Yeah, I voted Bills, but I mean
the Bills. The
helmet is gorgeous
yesterday.
Yeah, but
I liked
the helmet is gorgeous.
Well, speaking of things that I like our St. Louis Blues, and I like Jeremy Rutherford. He's going to join us next, our Blues Insider with The Athletic. If you have a question that you want to send JR's way, text us to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll talk with JR next right here in the Fast Lane.
101 ESPN's Blues Fan of the Week.
Congratulations to Lisa Foster from O'Fallon, Missouri. She is our newest 101 ESPN Blues Fan of the Week.
Submit your pick now at 101ESPN.com to be the next Fan of the Week and take home a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blues game.
Our Blues Fan of the Week is presented by CarStar, your auto body repair experts. Locally owned with nationwide warranty. See us at carstar.com.
College Bowl doubleheader. Game 1, it's the Liberty Bowl, Cincinnati and Navy. Game 2, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Mississippi State and Wake Forest. Coverage starts at 5:30. The NCAA plays on 101 ESPN. 101 ESPN Sports Center.
Suter sidelined ahead of Note Sabres. Good afternoon. I'm Bradford Bruns. Your Sports Center update is presented by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues forward Pius Suter will miss approximately 1 month after injuring his right ankle Saturday in the team's 3-2 win against Nashville. Robbie Fabry rejoins Jim Montgomery's lineup tonight. STL Buffalo puck drop set for 7 p.m. Also this evening, NFL Week 17 wraps up with Rams-Falcons. Seattle currently sits atop that NFC West, even though San Francisco just nipped Chicago 42-38. Mizzou product Rutherford in the third cleared 130 receiving yards at Levi's Stadium. LB3's Old School, meanwhile, couldn't get past Virginia Gator Bowl style. Your Sports Center update was powered by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
You're in the fast lane on 101 ESPN. It's time for the Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford, on 101 ESPN.
JR is brought to you by Evergreen Wealth Strategies, helping everyday people every day. Visit evergreen-ws.com.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. We head out to the Collier and Thompson phone line to welcome on our Blues insider with The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford. You can follow him on X at JP Rutherford. JR, how you doing today?
Doing awesome. And did you notice no NBA in that update, Jackson? No NBA.
Yeah, I figured it was missing something. Every time I hear somebody else do a Sports Center update, I realize how much better they are at doing it than me, and it gives me pause.
Jackson, I love that association, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Bradford loves
I wouldn't say that. It's just I'm looking for my second win so I can get back down to the rink for the game tonight and inject me with some Bradford Bruns. He does bring the energy.
God, does he ever?
Yes. JR, hopefully we don't have any NBA questions for you because I know I will not be contributing to any of those. But let's start with Pius Suter. He suffered the right ankle injury against the Predators, reevaluated in 4 weeks. We've seen this team have numerous injuries this season, but what are the ramifications of this particular injury?
Yeah, that's the 7th injury to a forward. So 7 out of your top 14 have been sidelined, and many of them, like Suter, a month. It's going to be long term. So, what are the ramifications? We asked Jim Montgomery that today, and he said you're talking about a responsible player who's really good defensively. One of those, players that you talk about their stick being in the right place all the time, and that's what they're going to miss. Fortunately for them, and I think I might write about him tonight, they have a player like him in Otto Stenberg, the first-round draft pick from 2023, has come in and shown a lot of the same similarities that a Pius Suter has. And Jim Montgomery said today probably more upside offensively for Otto Stenberg. So he's playing on that second line again tonight with Jordan Kyrou and Braden Chen. So a real good opportunity for Otto Stenberg with Pius Suter out of the lineup.
Yeah, JR, you mentioned Stenberg, and let's take a look at some of these young players that we didn't really expect to see this season based on how last year unfolded, and we expected this team to be a little bit better than where they're standing right now. But do you think that this is somewhat of a positive thing that we're getting an early look at what these younger players can do, despite the Blues not being, again, where they ultimately want to be in the standings? Do you find some positives in getting an early look at what these young guys can do on the ice?
I really, really do. And hey, look, nobody's going to take anything away from the Blues in terms of, trying to get into the playoffs. They're 1 point back of the wild card. Granted, these teams around them, some of them have a couple games in hand. But as we learned last year, if you're still within striking distance, you can make a run at it. But take a step back from that for just a minute. Like, at the end of the season, whether the Blues don't make the playoffs or they get knocked out in the first round, if you can look at the stats and see that Dalibor Dvorsky played, 50 games. Jimmy Snuggerud with the injury, still played 50, 60 games. Otto Stenberg was called up and got a taste of it and looked really good and promising for the future. To me, yes, making the playoffs is important, but in terms of the future of this organization, that's the most important. And at the top of everything is the fact that not only are these guys getting into games, but they're looking the parts, they're looking the roles, they're looking how the team described them when they drafted 2 or 3 of these guys just a few years ago. I think that everything is on course for these guys that we're seeing.
JR, from the youngsters to more of a veteran presence up front, Matthew Joseph also expected, along with Robbie Fabry, to re-enter Montgomery's lineup this evening, replacing Berggren for that matter. Do you view this as a temporary move or maybe a sign that some of the old troubling spots from the Detroit era perhaps coming up in isolation again for Berggren?
Well, I think that Jim Montgomery, we spoke to him yesterday, and Bradford, I'm glad you bring this up because it was a really interesting conversation. A lot of people talk about Jim Montgomery putting guys in and out of the lineup, mixing up the lines. And he said, guys, look, in the NHL, this is a league where you have to put winning above a lot of things. And in order to win, you have to have players who are doing the right things. And if we don't evaluate them and believe that they're doing the right things to help us win, then we got to move them in and out of the lineup. And so things were going to get crowded here, if a Suter stays healthy and a Bukestad comes back. But as we know with Suter now, it's a month. You don't know when Bukestad's coming back. You got Holloway and you got Nathan Walker, who are still probably about 4 weeks away from rejoining the lineup. So there's an opportunity for a Fabry who might have been waived. There's an opportunity for a Stenberg who might have gone back to Springfield at some point. And now there's an opportunity for Matthew Joseph to come into the lineup. And then you have Berggren, who's out tonight, but I'm sure we'll see soon. And the point is, as Jim Montgomery said, you got to do everything that the coaching staff is asking if you want to stay in the lineup. And you can get in a game or two, and if you're not performing, they've got the players that they can pull you right back out. So, what he told us with Berggren yesterday, or Berggren rather, is that he leveled off. The tendencies, the things that they saw from him the first couple games weren't there the past couple. So like they've done with a lot of players this season, they're going to give him a seat tonight in the press box.
JR, it's me, Jackson. How are you?
Yep.
Doing a little TMA style, taking questions from the audience. Not that I don't have questions of my own. I'm just going to couch those for now. This one comes from Thanks Dad. JR, do you feel that people reply to your tweets by purposely saying the dumbest possible things? Second part, do you feel like sports fans in general are louder and less intelligent than before social media?
Well, a couple things. How about the tweet I got the other night? And I'm totally with the guy. I totally understand. He said that, hey, could you wait about 3 or 4 seconds to tweet that the Blues scored a goal so we can see it on TV at home before we read it on your Twitter feed? How do you guys feel about that? I'd take some suggestions here because, a goal happens. You want to report the news, but you don't know what the delay is with the TV. What do you guys think?
JR, I am personally subscribed to all of your tweets, so I have had the game spoiled for me. But that's on me, though. I know that you're on top of things, so I need to do a better job of putting my phone down and just watching the game. And then once it happens, then I can go look at the tweets. I can see, or the X post, and then I can get some intermission reading in as well. So I'm not going to blame you by any means. I blame myself.
It's interesting, JR, with the impotence of legal sports betting. A lot of times people will be falling on the live sports gambling to try to make an in-game play, and those things have to be right on the money, real early, so to get ahead of somebody who might be at the game or something. And so that can ruin the game for you as well. It can be ahead of the tape delay. So I don't blame you, JR, but I personally have to keep my phone down while watching games so I don't see that stuff.
Well, the one thing I try to make myself look smarter when I'm not at the games, I'll follow Twitter. I'll follow people who are tweeting the live scoring, and I'll just look at my son and I'll say, you know what? Kyrou's playing really well. I think he'll score this game. And about 7 seconds later, he scores. I look better. My son doesn't know that I was looking at social media. So that's the way I would handle it.
JR, last one from me. Joel Hofer tonight making his 9th start since all the way back on November the 29th. What does it say about his level of play that you have a big-time matchup at home tonight against a team that has won 8 in a row in Buffalo? And it basically seems like a no-brainer to go with Hofer once more in net.
Yeah, Bradford, I wrote about Joel Hofer and the goalie situation today at The Athletic, so I did some homework the past couple of days for that story. Joel Hofer at .934 since that 1-0 shutout he had against Utah. That's the best save percentage of any goaltender in the league with 8+ starts, since that November 29th game. He's played really well Jordan Binnington, who everybody knows is capable and he'll be back at some point, just hasn't played as well in the last month like Joel Hofer has. So talked to Jake Allen about the situation yesterday. That's in the story. He said, look, if anybody knows about players, goaltenders who get on a ride and carry that momentum, the team wants to carry the momentum, it's Jordan Binnington, because that's what he did, of course, in 2019 when he came in for Jake Allen. And he said that Jordan Binnington is going to be the true Blue that he always is, and he'll continue to play hard and put himself in a position to get back in the crease. But right now, Jake Allen said give credit to Joel Hofer and the way he's playing. So where the Blues are right now, they've got to play the hot hand. I thought that maybe this was going to be a Binnington game, and then they go back to Hofer against Colorado. But as Jim Montgomery said yesterday, they're in that position where they're just going to keep going with the guy who's playing well. And right now, that's Joel Hofer.
JR, we appreciate you joining the show today. Blues take on the Sabres tonight. You can listen to that game right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. If you can't listen to the game, you can't watch the game, make sure you follow Jeremy Rutherford on X at JP Rutherford. He will have all of the updates for you. And we appreciate you joining us producers on the Fast Lane today.
Anytime, yeah. Go to where you can find the goals first. Right after Chris Kerber calls them on the air, they will be on the social media account. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you, JR.
See you. Happy New Year, by the way.
You guys too. Have a good one.
Awesome.
Good 2026.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Yep.
All right, that's Jeremy Rutherford. Jackson, that was an incredible question that you pulled from the text line.
Right. Yep.
I don't think anybody else could have done that as well as you did.
He didn't even really answer any part of the question either, which is always that was my favorite part of it.
That's the art of being really media savvy sometimes, and you see this a lot out of head coaches.
Yeah.
A question will be asked, and all of a sudden you're wondering, well, did you actually answer my question? Because typically they don't.
Yeah, coach speak. It's a lost art. You might remember the scene in Bull Durham where Kevin Costner coaches up Tim Robbins on how we should speak to the media to not create attention. JR just did that, and well done, may I add.
It's a skill. A little bit of word salad goes a long way,
At the end of the day.
Well, and Bradford, you're in the room typically when Drink is answering questions, so you get a firsthand experience when you ask questions, and then you're sitting there wondering, well, did he actually answer my question?
I have to say that the defensive meeting room there in Como took on a different tenor in 2025. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
He's weird. He'll have times where he does all coach speak all the time, and then he'll be incredibly candid about like bigger picture topics, like his thing a few weeks ago about the health of college football this moment, where it's like beautifully candid and so well done. You could write an article just on his speech alone. In other games, it's like, well, dadgum, playing for a battle line trophy.
And this is not a state secret. Those sessions earlier in the week decidedly different than what you get right
Post-game.
after the contest.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I think it depends on if the team pulled out a win or if they went home with an L.
Yeah. One thing's a constant: the Diet Coke.
Yeah, gotta have that guy, and burping a little bit while answering questions.
All right, well, we're going to transition from Blues hockey to the NFL. We're going to go over some of the Week 17 storylines as it pertains to the NFC side of things. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on 101 ESPN.
It's the Blues game. Want to hear the highlights? Need player reaction? Want more analysis and opinion? It's all here on Curbside, your next day postgame podcast with a voice of the St. Louis Blues, Chris Kerber. Catch new episodes of Curbside every morning after every Blues game on 101ESPN.com or on the 101 mobile app.
Curbside is presented by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Your St. Louis roofing experts. Visit BlueNoteRoofing.com for a free inspection. And by Bellman Automotive. For the best price on a new Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, or used vehicle, shop Bellman in Troy. Online at Bellman.com. You can't do better than Bellman.
former pros and one average Joe. You're listening to The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane right here on 101 ESPN alongside Jackson Burkett and Bradford Bruns. I'm Andrew Marsh. Guys, let's dive into Week 17 of the NFL. We're going to stick with the NFC. We'll get to the AFC here shortly in the 5 o'clock hour. But Bradford, you whipped up some questions for us as it pertains to what we witnessed over the weekend. What do you got for us?
Yeah, let's actually start, guys, by the Bay with respect to the 49ers outlasting Chicago in that epic Sunday night affair a little while ago. 42-38. Brock Purdy, obviously, with 5 touchdowns. Missouri's own Rutherford the third for Chi-Town with a big-time receiving performance, too. I look forward, personally, to the Purdy as well as Williams duels, hopefully, in the years to come. But right now, even though San Francisco is technically behind Seattle in that divisional race, you've got L.A. obviously playing tonight. In that must-win situation for the top seed on Saturday night, I believe. Are you riding with 49ers right now or Seahawks?
So I'm going with the 49ers based on what I've witnessed over these past couple of weeks. I think it really took me up until what we witnessed last night for me to fully be on board. But how ironic is it that Sam Darnold was in the same situation last season, but with the Minnesota Vikings, a chance to win the division, get the top seed, and how did that go? It did not go well. I foresee that happening once again. With this time with the Seahawks, I just don't really believe in what Seattle is doing as of these past couple of weeks. There's something about their offense that I feel is off. So I see San Francisco getting the job done, having home field advantage all the way throughout the Super Bowl. If they can make it, that would be interesting. But I see Seattle, unfortunately for my former quarterback for the Vikings, Sam Darnold, I just don't see them getting it done on Saturday.
Marshy, I agree with every single word that you just said there. I also really like the 49ers. I was so impressed by their win against Chicago. I really enjoyed watching that football game, by the way. I haven't watched a ton of NFL this year, but I watched that game in its entirety, and it was a ton of fun to watch, both from a scoring standpoint, seeing Luther ball out. I'm a closet Bears fan. I've made that proclamation. Yeah,
really?
Early in the season.
Why not? What is this shirt? Does this do anything for you?
Closet Bears is very passive, a very passive fan at that. But I've become a Closet Bears fan that started earlier in the season, way early in the season. So I also like the Niners. However, I am on a gambling cooler like you would not believe. If I pick a side, that side's losing. It is unprecedented how bad I have been the last 2 weeks. I have been picking minus 300 NBA moneyline favorites, and they lose outright.
Really?
So based on that, I like the Seahawks.
Okay, so
because
Carey,
I like the Niners.
Well, I'm going to take a step away from the NFL just for a brief moment. Wizards money line. That's Carey's pick tonight for Bet the Board. How do you feel about that?
Who are they playing? I'm asking. I'm crowdsourcing when I can pick up that answer myself, and I'm sorry.
You're asking the wrong guy.
The Wizards are playing Phoenix. Phoenix is a 10.5-point favorite. He likes the Wizards. I would like the Suns in this game, so yes, I think the Wizards will win. Wow, that's how bad of a cooler I'm. And the Wizards stink. One of the most pitiful franchises of the last 25 years.
So you're rolling with San Francisco?
No.
You're rolling with
Seattle. I like San Francisco and think they're going to win, so I'm going to pick the Seahawks.
So that means San Francisco will more than likely come out with the 1 seed based on this cooler that you're on.
I think so.
I'm fading myself.
Okay. I typically do that too.
I'm fading myself.
Yeah.
That's what kind of territory. If I had a sound, I'd have Bradford play it. Fade yourself. Oh, that's what I'm doing. That's how bad I've been.
Clip that off?
There you go.
Is that how we do it?
Fade yourself.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm doing. I'm so cold. So cold.
That's going in the vault.
Yeah. Brad, what do you think, Bradford? San Francisco?
It's got to be San Francisco because, as we mentioned during the 2 o'clock hour here on the Fast Lane, the fact that Brock Purdy seems to have taken that next step, right? That next leap. Because, remarkably, Christian McCaffrey has been able to get through the entirety of the season relatively healthy. He is a constant. There's nobody I'd rather have in the backfield right now. But as far as elevating the talent, the respective games of those around him, and that's the thing, Marshy, I'm of the same opinion, the same camp, that sooner or later, Sam Darnold is going to turn into that pumpkin as he did last season. And it's not as if we have seen bang-up performances in recent weeks either. You talked about the disjointed offense, and when referencing the Seattle Seahawks, that team still did prevail yesterday, and it prevailed over which of the squads from the decrepit NFC South? We have to talk about it briefly because somebody has to win the division, whether that would be the Carolina Panthers, or, I don't know, a Tampa Bay Bucs squad that has dropped 7 of its past 8 games. Here's what I know. Somebody's essentially winning the division next weekend at 500 or a game above. But regardless of the draw, somebody's getting home field advantage. That road team on that opening round weekend is going to be probably a heavy favorite. Heavy favorite.
Oh, absolutely. Especially
these teams.
When you look at the NFC as a whole.
Jamie.
Jamie, okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, we could have picked anybody. We could have. By the way, if you say as a whole.
You have to say Jamie?
No, you can say anybody.
Talking about who's whole.
Yeah, you could just pick anybody that's not here.
Anyone's whole?
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking
as
about.
A whole.
As a whole.
Jamie.
Am I missing something?
Yes.
Did you slip something in my drink? What's going on?
It's fine.
It's almost the 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we'll get you up to speed.
I'm not hip on the lore.
It's fine.
The
it's
NFC
fine.
South stinks.
It's not good.
There's not even a sexy team in there. No, there's barely even any good uniforms in there.
That is a ridiculous statement, given the creamsicle uniforms that the Buccaneers have.
Yeah, that's fair. But that's we're counting.
Well, I'm actually pretty disappointed in you for
the Saints have beautiful uniforms.
The Saints are actually playing good football right now. Who would have saw Tyler Shook actually being a decent quarterback in the NFL in his first year? I've been very impressed by what he's done.
As a whole,
Jamie.
Got it. Okay, now I get it.
Okay, good. But yeah, no, I listen, the Bucs have been awful, but there's something about that team that I believe in when it comes to playing the Panthers. I don't know who the Panthers are. The Panthers could be the team that beat the Rams, a month ago. Or they could be the team that played the San Francisco 49ers and were awful. Or literally every other game that the Panthers have played. They have not impressed me. I'm going to take the Buccaneers in this one. And whoever wins that game is getting eliminated right away.
Shades of like the late aughts NFC West when the Rams played the Seahawks to get to that coveted 7-9 playoff spot. We're getting a lot of shades of that right now.
Oh, when Charlie Whitehurst led the Seahawks to a victory?
Much like Voldemort, we don't mention his name in my presence.
Okay.
He joins the likes of Stan Kroenke, Frank Haith. People's names we just don't say.
Yeah. I actually was looking up that game yesterday because I don't know. Sometimes you just look into things and you go down this like rabbit hole.
Wikipedia is a real recipe for that.
Absolutely. So yesterday I'm watching the game. Al Harris, who's a part of the Bears coaching staff.
Right.
I was trying to figure out if he was the guy that intercepted Matt Hasselbeck in that playoff game when he, at the coin toss in overtime, said, we want the ball, we're going to score.
Yeah.
It was him. He was the one that intercepted Hasselbeck. They ended up winning the game. So then that led down to a rabbit hole of Seattle Seahawks, and then the game that you just mentioned got brought up, and I was looking through the box score. I mean, just a brutal game for the Rams, but some of the names, the wide receivers on that team, I was thinking to myself, how did this team even come close to being in a spot to make the playoffs?
Being in the NFC West.
At that time. And it's Steven Jackson, but he didn't do well that game.
That's true. Quickly, in reference to the NFC West, because we do have a game this evening to round out week number 17, the Rams as well as the Falcons. Look, Atlanta is the one team in the NFC South that is essentially not in the mix or not relevant whatsoever right now. But those Rams coming off of that loss to the Seahawks, kind of heartbreaking fashion. They're going into overtime. One of the most entertaining games we've seen all season on Thursday Night Football, no less. What do you need to see from them tonight on both sides of the football to put you back into that camp of saying, all right, I'm willing to put L.A. on equal ground, maybe even above San Fran, etc.?
All right, so since Anthony's not here, I'll take his place. L.A. just needs to show up tonight, and they will win the football game. Did I do that right?
That's pretty good. Devontae Adams isn't showing up, but if they show up collectively or as a whole,
Jamie.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
I think so. I mean, the Rams are a good football team, regardless of Devontae Adams play, whatever. Like, they still have dudes on that team. Their defense, I think, is underrated compared to some of the other teams in the NFC. I think that the Falcons have played a couple good games. I just don't see it happening. Like, the Rams are a by and large better team than the Falcons. These games are important for seeding purposes. I think the Rams get it done.
And lost in light of all of the Puka Nacua heroics, and rightfully so. I'm talking about on the field, not off of the field. No, we will not stream your content. Dare I say it? LA has a little Mizzou-ish, Hardy, Roberts tandem in Kyron Williams and Blake Corum coming out of the backfield. That's an underrated aspect to that offense.
Blake Corum go to Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Yeah. Chip Lindsey. I don't think they were together at the same time, though.
No.
Well,
UNC.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. Why'd the Falcons change their uniforms, by the way? Don't you miss the Mike
uniform guy?
Well, that's what I'm interested in. Don't you think the Mike Vick ones were better, like that era?
Yeah,
with the Matt Ryan too. Yeah, those were bad. I don't like that. I don't like going back to the classic like they've done.
I think their numbers are too big.
And I don't like that shade of red.
And it's kind of the font's too blocky.
Yeah, this is the kind of insight you get with me, and this is why you bring in the big guns.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what's going on in the gridiron? No, thank you.
Right.
But what they wear in the game.
Yeah,
I'm your guy.
Curbstomp texted in papers on the fast lane. I thought this was an episode of Movie Boy.
What? Yep.
So we were talking movies in the break.
Yeah.
A lot of good movies coming out in 2026.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff out now, man. Yeah. Go check out your local theater. Support local movie theaters. Don't wait for streaming. Go see it on the big screen. Absolutely. If you're waiting to go see Avatar when it comes onto your VOD, like watch it on a streamer, you are lame. Go see that on the biggest screen possible. See it in 3D. Buy some popcorn. Let's keep theaters alive.
All right. Well, speaking of 2026, we get to start the new year off right with some college football. We talked earlier about the first game of the CFP quarterfinal that we'll experience. That was Ohio State and Miami. We're going to dive into the Oregon-Texas Tech game coming up next right here in the Fast Lane.
Make your picks for this week's Fastlane Pick'em Challenge at 101ESPN.com. Show off your football knowledge and see if you can top the Fastlane and the dudes from the Rizzuto show on the point for this week's top score. The top scorer each week scores a Bud Light NFL cooler stocked with 101 ESPN and point swag. It's the Fastlane and the Riz Show throwing down all football season long in the Pick'em Challenge. Enter your picks for this week now at 101ESPN.com.
The Fastlane Pick'em Challenge is refreshed by Bud Light, official beer of the NFL. Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly.
You don't need spreadsheets or advanced metrics or, pie charts to play at Underdog. If you watch NBA games, if you got a feeling for how a player is going to perform in a certain matchup, great, go to Underdog. Just choose whether or not that player will go higher or lower on their stats. So points, rebounds, assist. You get the whole idea, right? That's the whole game. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play for as little as $1, and you can play right here in our state of Missouri. Plus, Underdog Unwrapped, they've got different promotions coming out. Boost, gimme picks throughout the holiday season. So each day you might wake up to a new promotion, and it's all courtesy of Underdog. Simple, fast, fun. I love playing at Underdog. Download the app today. Use my promo code Anthony to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Again, that promo code is Anthony at Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.nspgambling.org.
Start your day with the morning after on 101 ESPN. Get in the know first on everything St. Louis sports with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, and Martin Kilcoy. Listen to TMA weekday mornings from 7 to 11 a.m. on 101 ESPN. The morning after is presented by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. Buckle up. This is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
It was like George of the Jungle or something.
I thought someone was breaking in. Like someone knocked over a trash can in an effort to get us.
Are we talking Brendan Fraser movies? Is that what we're doing?
Well, that's, yeah.
You like The Mummy?
I don't mind it. It's been a minute since I've seen it.
Did Tom Cruise remake that?
Yes.
Was it really bad?
Bring back Brendan, though. You've heard the news. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Bring back Brendan. I've heard the news.
Sequel, it's coming. The long-awaited original cast. Well, original-ish. Yeah, Frasier, Rachel Weisz.
Oh, that's right. I love Rachel Weisz.
Well, I love college football,
Yeah.
and we get some college football in the next few days. College football playoff, that is. We talked earlier about the Miami-Ohio State game. Let's dive into the Oregon and Texas Tech game. Gentlemen, Texas Tech, winners of the Big 12. You have Oregon, who I'm not a huge fan of, but I foresee them winning in this matchup. What do you guys think about these two teams, and how do you think things will play out?
Pretty interesting that you have Oregon technically as the number 5 seed, but favored at present, Marshy, by 2.5 over Texas Tech. And let's get this out of the way. That wasn't even a contest, okay? The sequel, the rematch for the Big 12 title, because the Red Raiders just ran roughshod over BYU. And yet, by the same token, despite all the money that has been invested, that has literally been put into place there, especially to reinvigorate the defense, it's a tremendous defense. It has arguably the best pass rushing group in the entire nation. I know that offense can be very, very explosive as well, but I can't help but shake the feeling that we see too much inconsistency at times from Baron Morton and company. It's a different team with him at the helm. When he missed limited doses of action this season, the offense wasn't nearly as efficient. However, I think Oregon has the balance, has the physicality, played obviously in the Big Ten, played that particularly brutal schedule to be able to withstand the rigors of going up against Texas Tech in this contest. And I really do think, as far as the approach is concerned there, what you're looking for, what you're desiring offensively for Dan Lanning's team. Dante Moore has been the story, right? But this balance from a ground game standpoint as well, it's going to behoove Oregon extremely well. And I like the fact, frankly, that Oregon had to play more recently. Yeah, you gave up 30 plus to James Madison. The coaching staff was ticked off, hacked off about it. That wasn't a clear reflection of what you get on both sides of the ball. I do think that Oregon ultimately has enough on both sides to edge Texas Tech in this matchup.
I think people sleep a lot on Texas Tech. If you've watched them play this year, they're a really good football team. I'm looking at the most amount of points they've allowed is 26 when they lost to Arizona State. Outside of that, most of their games are under 20 points, most of that under 10 points. Texas Tech's defense is for real. Dante Moore tends to crumble a little bit when you bring some pressure. I could see that leading to an interception, a fumble, something like that. I think he plays really, really well when he's comfortable. That's not saying anything groundbreaking there. Most quarterbacks are better when they're comfortable, but like he kind of needs it, even though he can improvise. But I think Texas Tech's defense is going to smother them. So saying that, I like Texas Tech to win the game, which means I will bet Oregon.
Interesting. Okay, that goes back to you being on a cooler.
The greatest cooler. This is the cooler of 2025 that will never end.
So Good Life Sean on our YouTube page in the Snake Pit says you can't fade yourself, only others can fade you.
I can absolutely fade myself.
Yeah,
I think Texas Tech will win. I even like the number. What are they getting 2.5? Love that. Love getting 2.5. Love it so much. I'm going to take Oregon, meaning I'm fading myself. And others can fade me too.
Right. I think for me, I just look at Oregon getting that extra game. I think at this game, and I hope they do this moving forward, and I know they won't, but like Texas Tech deserves a home game, man. Like we saw how lively those games were in the first round for those schools hosting that round. This is a neutral site, and granted, they're the quote unquote better team from seeding perspective. I just feel like they should get a home game.
It's 11 o'clock on New Year's too. It's not going to be as raucous as you would imagine.
Right.
It's sterile and corporatized. That's what all these bowl games that are now CFP games become. I think if they do go to 16, you'll get 2 weeks of on-campus games, and as many. If they played all of them on campus until the national championship, I think the sport would be better for it. I'm sure that would hurt the bottom line. So that's a conversation that wouldn't happen. But I do think that, it would be so sick if this was played at either stadium.
What do you think will be the ultimate reason Texas Tech wins and the ultimate reason why Oregon ends up winning this game?
There's a way here for Oregon to actually be able to infiltrate the run D for Texas Tech, which has not happened, admittedly, that much this season. But the way in which Oregon comes at you in waves, I think there's more depth at that position than what Texas Tech honestly possesses. And I do think that Morton, for that matter, too, is just as susceptible to creating the big turnover, coming up with that more. Granted, he had a pair of interceptions against JMU. And you made a great point, Jackson, insofar as when he is more comfortable there in the pocket, when he's got that poise, when he has the ability to basically be super comfortable, the results are different. But I need to actually see it from Texas Tech in this setting. And more than anything else, frankly, it's about not having seen Texas Tech against the same caliber of competition throughout the regular season. I'm not trying to disrespect the Big 12 to excess. However, the Big 10 schedule, as it stood versus what Texas Tech did, prove it to me, and then I'm more they were willing to give you the flowers. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think if it is going to be Texas Tech, it's going to be defense. It's going to be defense, defense, defense. That's what they're so good at. The over-under right now, I think, is at 51.5. It's another one where I feel like under seems like a great play. So fade yourself and take the over. But if it's going to be Texas Tech, it's going to be the relenting defense that they have. And if it's Oregon, I think Bradford just made a rock solid point there. They have so much depth. Like they can, and they're good to run the ball. Dante Moore, when he's good, he's great. So I think if it's going to be, I think it's going to be depth. Just I could see like a battle of attrition here, where it's like who's going to score, who's going to break that ice, and then who's going to capitalize. Kind of a game of runs basketball style game, which I would love to see, because Oregon in their first game played an uninteresting game because of the college football's own fault of the way they seeded up. That was their fault. That was on them, and the egg's on their face when they have James Madison playing Oregon in the Autzen Zoo. That's going to be a competitive matchup.
Well, that's the man you can fade, Jackson Burkett. We have Bradford Bruns in my position, actually, and I'm Andrew Marsh. You can listen to the Orange Bowl on Thursday. That is the start of the new year, 2026. We'll have the kickoff for you right here on 101 ESPN at 11 a.m. as the Oregon Ducks take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Well, we just went over, before we got into some college football, we were diving into some storylines from the NFC side of things in Week 17. We're going to look at the AFC, and there's a particular matchup that we will get to watch on Sunday Night Football. I cannot believe that it is even happening based on what we witnessed in Week 17. We'll dive into the AFC side of things next right here in the Fast Lane.
You can now watch 101 ESPN live on our Air Alliance Team Studio Cams. Catch every show live on our YouTube channel or at 101ESPN.com. 101 ESPN Studio Cams.
Presented by the Air Alliance Team Heating and Cooling. Getting the job done quickly, correctly, 100% of the time.
yourself in. You're in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN alongside Bradford Bruns and Jackson Burkett. I'm Andrew Marsh. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. It's 5:18. We are about 40 minutes away, give or take 42 minutes away until Blues pregame. Blues take on the Sabres tonight. Pregame starts at 6. We'll have the puck drop for you at 7 o'clock. We talked earlier, gentlemen, about the NFC, some of the storylines from Week 17. Let's switch gears and head to the AFC. I mentioned, or I alluded to Sunday Night Football, where the Pittsburgh Steelers will take on the Baltimore Ravens. Bradford, you whipped up some questions for us, and we kind of talked about this earlier in the show. Jackson was not here, so let's get his perspective.
So it didn't count. It didn't even count. That didn't happen. Count.
Thank you. Nothing counts unless Jackson's here. But
that's correct.
Bradford, what do you got for us?
Well, we know that Pittsburgh didn't have many points that counted in yesterday's affair there.
Hey-o.
Factory of sadness. Hey, Cleveland got the job done. Divisional game or not, 13-6 over Pittsburgh, which could have put the nail in the coffin of Baltimore, despite the Ravens' triumph on Saturday over Green Bay. As it stands, though, Pittsburgh now and Baltimore meeting head-to-head for that divisional title. And frankly, guys, what we saw offensively from Pittsburgh yesterday, it was a great defensive effort, especially after the first quarter, but not having DK Metcalf, especially in the waning seconds, Rodgers trying to get it into the end zone, Jaylen Warren inexplicably really not being used a lot down the stretch, and now you have a must-win situation. I'm just hard-pressed to think about how Pittsburgh can move the ball against Baltimore, regardless of whether Lamar plays.
Yeah, from what I witnessed on Saturday, Derrick Henry, he was spectacular. And DK Metcalf, not having him, I wonder if he's in that game, that final, fade, that jump ball at the end of the game, if he's there, maybe he, pulls a Randy Moss and catches that ball, Pittsburgh wins. I, for one, thought that was a penalty, for one. I don't know how you don't call that. I thought that was a penalty. However, you don't make the call, set up Sunday Night Football, winner take all.
MVS doesn't get those calls.
AFC North on the line. Kind of sets up nice for the NFL. But that's just a bad loss, man. Like, you cannot lose that game. I said it earlier in the show. Didn't count, obviously, because Jackson wasn't here.
Thank you.
So I'll say it again. You can't lose that game. I don't think they get it done. I really don't. You had a chance against a bad Browns team. Although they have a really good defense, you have to win that game. I saw Shadur Sanders yesterday for one of the worst passes that I've seen in quite some time, and I've watched J.J. McCarthy all season long when he's played.
That's saying something.
I've seen some bad throws. I've also seen some good throws, but I've seen some bad throws. I don't know how you lose that game.
That was really bad. Steelers game yesterday. Speaking of DK Metcalf, did you guys see the Lions fans press conference? Talking about this. It might be one of the funniest.
I thought it was fake.
I thought so. It might be one of the. It looks like an SNL sketch.
For sure.
It's the fun. This guy decided to get his lawyers together. They got a foldable table for the press conference, and he gets dressed up in a suit, no tie, and then takes his Lions cap, spins it backwards, and dresses up like that. And I guess the audio wasn't working for like the first half of it, which I can, of course, I feel your pain on that. I've done plenty of broadcasts where mics aren't working.
You said SNL. I was thinking Tim Robinson.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Truly one of the funnier things I've ever seen. That wins the week for me. But yeah, the Steelers, I can't believe that they have the record they have. Their performance yesterday was weak to say the least. That's not because I bet Steelers-Browns over. I want that to be clear. That is not why I'm so upset by this. It's not because I took the over, and the cooler continues.
Meanwhile, it's really no laughing matter for the fans in Buffalo either. You're saying goodbye officially to Highmark Stadium next weekend because, well, yesterday's loss to Philadelphia, ridiculous conditions, obviously, in that one in Orchard Park, 13-12. And much like the Mizzou game, if you missed just a couple of drives, you missed just the full extent of the offense there for Buffalo. Josh Allen doing his best high wire act, coming up inches short, though, and not able to convert that 2-point conversion at the very end, aggravated the foot injury. Look, Philly, no great shakes in the moment, especially offensively. Yeah. But Buffalo not only loses that game, also witnesses New England capture the AFC East. And I can honestly say, even though Buffalo is in the postseason, I have no clue what to expect from that team.
Yeah, I don't either. This has to be without Patrick Mahomes, without Joe Burrow. Who knows if Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens get in? I think that they will, because I think they'll beat the Steelers on Sunday. But let's just say he doesn't. Dude, it's just Josh Allen. Out of those 4 guys, this, for me, is a year. I don't care where you're at in the standings. You got to get to the Super Bowl, man. Yeah. Are you kidding me? If you're not going to get in this year, like when?
Right.
When is it going to happen?
And my question for you is, as much as we want to put on the plate of Josh Allen, it's considerable. Last season, you can say during the MVP campaign, obviously, he did a better job of distributing the football and not forcing the issue too much. He seems to have reverted into a lot of the old habits. A lot of that has to do with the personnel, especially at receiver. But if I have somebody like a James Cook, to whom I gave an incalculable amount of money before training camp even really got underway.
And he deserved it.
That good this season.
Oh, yeah, he's been great.
Then when it matters the most, I understand you want the ball in Allen's hands. I'm running it even more with James Cook, because what am I doing? I'm trying to keep it out of the defense's situation, grasp as much as possible. There is no end to just how bad this Buffalo run defense is. So even if you get into the playoffs and you get an advantageous matchup, you're going to get brutalized in the trenches.
Yeah, right now, if the season ended today, they'd be taking on the Patriots.
Getting a little into the weeds of yesterday's tilt between the Eagles and Bills. Did you like the Bills going for 2 there after the touchdown, or do you think you play it for overtime?
So I've been kind of going back and forth with this, because he had the guy wide open. He just missed the throw.
Yeah, he did.
He hits his man. The game's over. They win. So is it the right move? Like, if
it's
he
easy
makes the throw,
yeah, right?
It's not like everybody was covered and it was just a bad play call. Like, they had the look they wanted. He just didn't execute. Now you could also make the argument: you kick the field goal, you take it to overtime. You have momentum. It's not like Philly was doing any. You just mentioned the defense.
That's the thing.
Philly didn't really do anything against that defense. So you get the ball back, or maybe you get the ball first and you score, put some pressure on Philly where they have to respond. Yeah, you could go that route. But they had the play, so
no, I don't know. Generally speaking, I like when teams go for 2 right in that situation. It's like, it's 2 yards and you get the victory. Do you think you can do, do you have trust in your offense?
Well, do you trust the kicker who
just missed the extra point? In fairness, it was blocked, but it was a low kick. But the Bills had trouble getting into the end zone before that. They had been stuffed on 4 plays there before. They obviously had trouble getting into it right before the end of regulation. Right. So, and you had they were dominating the Eagles in the second half. The scoreboard didn't show it, but defensively, and they were moving the ball. They were playing way better. I thought probably be best to go to overtime, just because of how much they had struggled there in goal line situation. But I like situational stuff like that. I think it's good debate.
You had all of the momentum, conventional wisdom suggesting that at home, maybe you do play for overtime as opposed to being on the road.
Yeah,
Philadelphia did absolutely nothing in the second half. No. Once again, Jalen Hurts looked like the guy he had been for the better part of the first half of the season. And if I have to deal with one more hissy fit from A.J. Brown, I'm going to lose my mind. But that brings us actually turning from Buffalo to New England. Obviously, capturing the AFC East title yesterday officially, and absolutely hammering hapless Aaron Glenn's Jets and Brady Cook. Heaven forbid, my goodness gracious. But with all of the attention being given the star quality of Josh Allen and wondering, okay, among these quarterbacks, who's going to be the next to maybe make that leap this season? Drake May is still right there at the forefront of the MVP conversation. And what Mike Vrabel has done in year 1 in Foxborough as the head man is nothing short, really, of a revelation. Are we sleeping on New England entering the playoffs?
Oh, man.
To a degree.
I am.
Are you?
I can't be sold yet. I don't know why.
Well, you can't really be sold on any of these teams.
No.
Anybody on the AFC side?
I feel that way about Jacksonville, I'll admit.
What about Denver? You guys sold on Denver?
No, I'm not. I'm not sold on Jacksonville. I'm not sold on I think Houston's been playing well. They have a great defense.
But Houston's
and a lot
offense.
of these teams, a lot of these teams have great defenses, but sometimes I question their offense.
Good Lord, the Texans have only allowed 265 points.
Dude,
I'm not have trust in the Texans. 260,
their
that's
defense
crazy.
is incredible.
That's like 50 points less than the next best guy.
And that
the
was
Broncos
after
allowed 308.
A not so great start to the season because your defense was out there for 40 minutes a game.
Right.
Offensive line couldn't hold up.
Yeah. God, that's unbelievable.
I think the Patriots are a team that will be in the AFC Championship game. Now, I don't know if they make it to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I mean, that team is a well-oiled machine right now. They're playing good football. They have a great head coach, a great second-year quarterback. I hate that New England has sort of found the secret recipe again because I'm not a huge fan of Boston sports, and I think everyone in the city understands why. Right. But he is a player that is easy to root for. So I find myself sort of going back and forth on whether or not I really want to get behind them. But I could totally see them doing some damage in the playoffs. I'm not 100% backing them or sold on them because I'm not 100% on anybody in the AFC. But they're a scary team.
Do you guys have a brief moment for Jackson's discrepancy corner?
Sure.
Sweet. The Patriots point differential this year plus 142, tops the AFC. The Steelers, who of course top the AFC North at the moment, their point differential is 8. They're plus 8. They're a touchdown, 2-point conversion away from tying this season altogether. So that just goes to show you where things are.
Yeah.
142. Wow. It's crazy.
Wow. Well, Jackson, you're really good at looking at the Air Comfort Service text line.
Yeah, I would say I excel at it.
Yeah, you really do. Actually, we all do. That's kind of our job. But not today. We have our Sports Six Pack coming up next, so we want you to send in questions to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We are about a half hour away from Blues pregame, but we want to answer some of your questions. It could be sports related. It could be movie related.
Yeah.
Jackson is the head honcho when it comes to Movie Boy, his podcast. So send us your questions, and we'll answer those next right here in the Fast Lane.
want to hear from you. Use the Scott Lee Mic Drop feature on the 101 mobile app. Give us your opinion on anything St. Louis sports with a mic drop.
Brought to you by the Scott Lee Heating Company.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
Blues draw Sabres shortly. Good afternoon. This is Bradford Bruns with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. In about 35 minutes, we will have pregame for Blues Sabres puck drop at 7 p.m. on your home for the note 101 ESPN. Buffalo actually carries an 8-game winning streak into the festivities this evening, whereas St. Louis won over the weekend by the final of 3-2 over Nashville. However, suffering a casualty in that contest, forward Pius Suter suffering that ankle injury. He will miss approximately a month of action. Robbie Fabry back in Jim Montgomery's lineup this evening, as is Matthew Joseph. Joel Hofer in net. Jim Montgomery, by the way, joined the Fast Lane earlier in today's show, and that interview will be up on 101ESPN.com momentarily. This Sports Center update was brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Don't slow down. You're in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
I have a question.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
It's time for the six-pack right here on 101 ESPN. You are in the Fast Lane. We hope you sent us some questions to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, alongside Bradford Bruns and Jackson Burkett, who is pinch hitting today, making his Fast Lane debut.
Yeah, it feels great. Something that maybe the listeners won't know, especially if you just listen to on the radio or podcast, is once the sun sets in the winter here on the Fast Lane, you basically have to do the show in pitch black. You know, it's you're illuminated only by your computer screens and very dim overhead lighting. So that's the adversity they face on a day-to-day basis. So give them a break in the winter and after like 4:30.
Well, if you have any questions for Jackson, please send them now. Bradford, hit us with question number one.
Question number one.
Well, we do have a question indeed for Movie Boy right out of the gates, coming from none other than Hip Hop Iggy. Jackson, have you seen, what are your thoughts on, I believe this is a Chris Cooper vehicle, correct me if I'm wrong, Lone Star?
I don't know if I've ever seen Lone Star, which is just a great way to start this segment off.
What about Chris Cooper as an actor, though? I'll lead you down that path.
That's American Beauty, right? He plays the father in American Beauty?
Yes, also The Town.
Yeah, right.
Prolific.
Yeah, very prolific. I love American Beauty and The Town. Let me rephrase that. I like American Beauty a lot, and I love The Town. So maybe I need to add Lone Star to my watch list. I have some time as I'm off for the next couple of days, so I'll throw Lone Star out there. Yeah, this looks like right up I love Westerns, so this looks right up my alley.
John Sayles, filmmaker of that one?
Yeah, okay. All right. Consider me in, so I'll get back to that guy on that one.
Question number two.
Curb Stop, we appreciate his contributions throughout the program today. He's been very active, and he asks us now, should Phillip Rivers entertain the idea of coming back next season?
No.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved what Phillip Rivers did in his 3 games as a starting quarterback in the year of 2025. I think that he should be done. Now, I did say yesterday after that game ended, I wonder if he sticks around with the Colts staff heading into next season. He is a coach, high school football coach. I wonder with his relationship with Shane Steichen if that's something that he ends up doing, because the way, and we talked about this, the way that he would go about things pre-snap, I think is such valuable information for younger quarterbacks. And I can't see him not wanting to be a coach in the future, because he is one right now at the high school level. No, maybe he doesn't want to, leave his family, and he's got a ton of kids, as we all know. But they are getting older. I wonder if he sticks around in the league as a coach, like a QB coach or something. I'm not too sure, but as it pertains to him playing, I think I'm good.
In any way, shape, or form, do you think this late in the game arc, changes his candidacy, the perception of him for some in the minds of Hall of Fame voters? Because to me, he's not a surefire guy. And here's why I say that. It's not a referendum on what Phillip Rivers did for X number of years. He was sensational at the position, but he was also rising to prominence in that era in which you had guys throwing for yards left and right. The game opened up considerably more, less physicality overall, didn't have the hardware. This is quite the story. And to do so, even over a 3-game span, 5 years later, 44, 45, does that influence anybody who's maybe on the fringe?
Yeah, quit while you're ahead. I don't think legacy improvement should be at the front of his mind. If I personally were him, I know he lives in Alabama and like on a sick compound with his giant family. It seems like and I think because he played these last couple of games, he continues to get health insurance to the NFL.
Yeah.
It seems like you struck gold,
yeah.
and like you're walking away without a limp or any serious injury. I'd quit while you're ahead. This is a great story to end your career on. I'd keep it that way.
I think if there's anybody out there that did not have him as a Hall of Famer, to your question, I would find it hard to not take this stretch into consideration, given his age, the way that he competed out there, for the most part, had his team in striking distance of winning a few games. I was really impressed with what he did. And so if there's anybody out there that has a say in it and they're leaning towards him not being a Hall of Famer, I think he is. But if for some reason somebody out there doesn't think he is, I think these 3 games, despite not winning, should really flip their mindset.
Question number 3.
Mr. Burkett from the Gridiron to the Hardwood. This question courtesy of Salty Bald Dad from Caseyville. Have you watched the SLU men's team very closely this season? And if so, there you go. What are your projections as far as possible NCAA tournament hopes?
Yeah, we've talked about this a good amount on TMA. There's a real crisis, might be too strong a word, but it really kind of is, with mid-major teams, much like SLU or any other A-10 team would be, of like being able to schedule these major schools because the schools like UConn schools, any Power 4, Power 5 team, they can play each other and not really be penalized for it, if you lose in a non-conference situation. Whereas if you play an A-10 team or a mid-major team and you lose, that's going to hurt more and the win doesn't help as much. So there's kind of been this effort, maybe not, maybe a subconscious effort, but an effort nonetheless, over the past couple of years to mid-majors have a really tough time scheduling Power 4, Power 5 schools. So I keep saying Power 4, Power 5 because I forget how many conferences there are. It changes year to year.
Fair.
But so SLU has a tough, and if you want to get in without winning the A-10, it's going to be tough only because you don't have a marquee signature non-conference win. Santa Clara is a good team, don't get me wrong, but that doesn't necessarily eyes don't pop out because you beat Santa Clara. Now, if they continue the dominance they've been having in the A-10, if they have an awesome A-10 year, even if they don't win the A-10, I could still see a world in which they get in that large bid. But I think remove all doubt and win the A-10, obviously you're going to be in, but they're a dangerous team, man. They shoot. Their offense is awesome. Kellen Thames is really, really fun to watch. They get down and defend. I really, really, really like SLU.
Do you think that they can beat Mizzou right now?
Yes.
Oh, there's no question.
I think if you played 10 games, it would be, I don't know how the series would go, but yeah, one-off game, 40 minutes. I wouldn't bet on the Tigers.
I'll say 7-3 right now. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious because I'm not looking forward to, I'm a conference basketball kind of guy.
Yeah.
I put a lot of stock in the SEC at large. It's not going to be as great as it was a season ago in my estimation, but I'm kind of shuddering at the thought of what Saturday could turn out to be against Florida, back in mid-Missouri. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be boots on the ground for that game, so we'll see them up close and personal. The only thing that gives
makeup, clown makeup.
If it is anything like that second half against Illinois, I'll bring the clown makeup and do it right there at Mizzou Arena. The only thing that gives me some pause on SLU is interior defense and rim protection. I'm a little nervous that if they were to play when we saw Illinois play Texas Tech and a guy like JT Toppin, I could see him just putting in work on SLU's interior, but outside of that, SLU is rock solid.
Question number 4.
I was going to say, let's get one more question, Brad, before we wrap up the show.
We will do so. Sticking with the local hoops, actually, Jackson. So we've talked about SLU. Talking about Mizzou, however, Mark Mitchell, do you see him at any point being a contributor in the NBA?
No. No, he is a one-dimensional. I should give a little more pause. A two-way contract kind of deal for the first couple of years after college, could see, because he is an elite finisher at the rim. He can do it with both hands. He's ambidextrous. He can do it with both hands. Unfortunately, and we've seen it rear its ugly head from Mizzou this year, he is a completely one-dimensional scorer. He only scores at the basket, and if he gets fouled at the free throw line. He has no stop and pop jumper. He has no threat from deep. And in the NBA, if you're going to be a rotational player, you kind of need to be a threat from all three levels. If not, at least just a threat. You don't have to be great from all three levels, but you got to be a threat. If you're playing Mark Mitchell, you can basically play 5 feet off of him and be in good shape.
And that essentially sums up Mizzou in 25-26. You have Mark Mitchell, you have Anthony Robinson, great facilitator, apparently allergic to shooting the basketball, dribble, drive, and then Jacob Cruz, who is all three and nothing else.
Yeah, you see it. The problem that not having Tamar Bates and not having Caleb Grill, wing scorers who are three-level scorers, can do is that you now have a one-dimensional offense, and it's once they shut down your one dimension, you have no dimensions.
How many questions do we get to, Bradford?
Four, buddy.
Four piece.
Well,
a 4-pack.
Yeah.
16-ounce cans, though, so it's the same amount of
I like
volume.
That. I like that.
Yeah,
All
fun with conversions.
All right, well, we have Blues pregame starting at 6 o'clock. We are going to wrap things up with what we learned and 3 stars of the day. We'll see what Bradford comes up with these 3 stars. That's coming up next right here in the Fast Lane.
The Blues play on 101 ESPN.
Big save on one end. Tie game on the other.
Tonight, Blues and Sabres. Pregame at 6. Puck drop at 7.
Score! He tucks it in with a great move.
This is your exclusive home for Blues hockey. 101 ESPN. This is The Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
If you have missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll catch all of our interviews there. We talked today with Ricky Proehl. He is the newest Battlehawks head coach. Jim Montgomery, of course, Blues head coach. And Jeremy Rutherford, Blues insider with The Athletic. Again, if you missed those interviews, just head to the podcast page. Also, if you miss anything else from our show, head to that podcast page. It's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. This is the Fast Lane with 0 pros and 3 above-average Joes, as Curb Stomp said. We know that Anthony is on vacation. If you're just tuning in, Anthony's on vacation. Jamie's down at the Enterprise Center getting ready for Blues hockey. Carey on vacation as well. So today, for the last 2 hours, you've been stuck with me, Andrew Marsh, Bradford Bruns, and Jackson Burkett, TMA legend. Can I call you that, a legend?
No, I think that's the right thing to say. Yeah.
All right.
Because, as we all know, legends never die.
Wow.
That's right. Me and Babe
We
Ruth.
haven't said that in a while, actually. All right, so Jackson, obviously, you're new to the show.
That's right.
At the end of the show, we do what we learned.
Right.
So let's start off with you. What did you learn today in these 2 hours?
I learned the as a whole bit.
Yes.
I was completely unaware of that, so getting to hear that was good. It'll enrich my listening going forward of the Fast Lane, knowing what
lingo.
that is. Yeah, what that is. So I'd say that, and also if anyone needs like a Gauntlet celeb shot, like need me to step in, I will work that ass every time.
Okay.
4 for 4.
Oh.
I feel like that's I don't know, pretty impressive effort. I'm like Philip Rivers, I came in out of nowhere, performed, and now I'll leave and go back to my home in Alabama.
My
10 kids.
I was pretty impressed by your Gauntlet performance. You could have had 8 points. You only had 7.
Because I
so
took the options, right?
You did take the options.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I
wouldn't have even, like, if you had to be, like, guess what I was supposed to say, and that's it. Wards a leaping is not what I would have come up with. So getting the options there was huge.
You did a good job.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Did a good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Bradford, what did you learn today?
Well, Marshy, I've had the good fortune, actually, of having been on air with you a couple of times now. Yeah, a few months ago, and then back today. Always a lot of fun. I did learn, though, that it is fantastic, especially during the holidays, right? We're spreading the good sentiments and everything to make new radio on-air friends with the Jackson Burkett. It was a good time, buddy. First time,
So much fun.
2 of us, so much fun.
I just love chopping it up. That's what people don't understand. I love to chop it up about anything.
Yes.
Anything. You just hit me up. I'll chop it up with you. If you see me out, come over. Talk ball, talk movies, whatever. I love chopping it up.
I love that. I was actually really impressed with us staying on clock, too.
Yeah, well, with my presence in the studio, that is usually not what follows.
Yeah.
Which, I see you taking a shot there, Marshy. It's really,
Well,
it's a good note to leave on.
That was something that I learned today.
No,
we did
we're good.
it's just
3 producers in here, you would think that we'd be able to get it on time.
Absolutely. Another thing that I learned today, and actually the 314 brings it up, the word beguiling. I've never heard that word in my life until today when Bradford Bruns spoke it into our ear holes.
Yeah.
Never heard. Do you know what it means?
Beguiling?
Beguiling.
No.
Okay.
Enchanting, mesmerizing, tantalizing.
Add that to the old quiver. That's a nice little arrow on the quiver there. I'd consider me tantalized.
Are you titillated too?
Titillated, yeah.
Why not?
I'm a lot of things right now.
There was another word you used, Bradford. I do know what this word means, but I wrote it down. Behooved.
Oh, great word. Yeah. Employed, it would benefit you.
Yeah, Jackson's in that camp too. He knows.
Love the word behoove.
Yeah.
Anytime you can get a word like hoof in there into something that sounds intellectual, hoof is a funny word. Hoof or hoof.
Yeah.
We didn't rank hoofed animals, which I thought was a miss today.
You do like your rankings. You like your Mount Rushmores, your power rankings.
Yeah, it's not hack at all. It's very original. It's first people to do it.
Well, I appreciate that.
I appreciate you.
Somebody's got to do it.
I just appreciate hanging out and getting to chop it up.
Chop it up.
I've been on air since Wednesday. I won't be on air again until Monday.
Yeah. There's a ton of best ofs you have.
Oh,
you love
started. 81 segments, Bradford. 81 segments. 81. If I have to say you're listening to the best of TMA on 101 ESPN again, I think it'll be the last words I speak.
I think that's as many yards as Mizzou had offensively on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. If you can outpace in segments of your best of Missouri's offense, you know you've done something special.
Bradford, what do we have today for our 3 stars?
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 Stars of the Day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book. Now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
All right, Marsh, you stole the thunder a bit in the sense that beguiling is the number 3 star on this day. Yeah. I have to make sure to prop that up accordingly. Beguiling, number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2 goes to the man who helped. He didn't just fill in. He was a core cast member for 2 hours, and we hope to have him back in the not-too-distant future. And, oh, by the way, going 4 for 4 in the random category of the Gauntlet. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Burkett.
Wow, Piddles gets
Absolutely. A star. But the number 1 star on this occasion, on this Monday, last 4-hour show of 2025, the man who took over the driver's seat with a plum for the final 2 hours. You kept us on clock, my friend. It's Andrew Marsh.
Oh, thank
in the lead chair.
I appreciate you.
Skull.
Man.
Skull.
Talk about a win on Christmas Day.
Skull.
Yeah, I got this for Christmas, by the way, so I was wearing it proudly.
That's the Colgate helmet. I call that the Colgate. It looks like a strip of toothpaste.
Oh, yeah. Somehow this team, my Vikings, are 500. I have no idea how it happened. We'll see if the Blues can get it done tonight as they take on the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres come into this one with an 8-game winning streak, so we'll see if the Blues can slow them down. They'll be without Pius Suter. We talked about that earlier today. We appreciate everyone tuning into today's show with us 3 knuckleheads, Bradford Bruns, Jackson Burkett. I'm Andrew Marsh. We have Blues pregame coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. We will see you.
New year, new Jamie jersey giveaway. This month, I'm giving away a signed Jake Neighbors Winter Classic Blues jersey. It is phenomenal. We all know how good they looked up there in Chicago. It's going to look great on you as well. Register to win that autographed Neighbors jersey right now at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. Jamie's jersey giveaway is presented by St. Luke's, ranked the top 2% in the nation for card